to a bald man. If you are looking for a friend without a fault, you will be without a friend forever. God's mill may grind slowly, but it grinds finely. You'll never plow a field by turning it over in your mind. There's no use boiling your cabbage twice. Sunshine always follows rain. Put silk on a goat, and it's still a goat. Better to spend money like there's no tomorrow than to spend tonight like there's no money. May today be better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow. What a sober man has in his heart, a drunk man has on his lips. Success consists of getting up just one more time than you fall down. Climate is what you expect. Weather is what you get. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. The innocent and the beautiful have no enemy but time. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking up at the stars. I complained that I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. Beautiful young people are acts of nature. Beautiful old people are works of art. The best things in life are the people we love, the places we have been, and the memories we have made along the way. Take the world nice and easy, and the world will take you the same. Don't go broke trying to look rich. He who keeps his tongue keeps his friends. A tune is more lasting than the song of the birds, and a word more lasting than the wealth of the world. Two people shorten the road. The more sexual partners a woman has had, the more likely she is to be depressed. There is only one thing worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. Lie down with dogs, and you'll get up with fleas. A cabin with plenty of food is better than a castle with none. In every land, hardness is in the north, softness is in the south, industry is in the east, and fire and inspiration in the west.
Greetings, gentlemen.
What's up, guys? Jack?
What's going on?
Your audio sucks, Paul.
Rob? Sorry. Paul?
Greetings, folks.
All right.
How about now, Talcott?
No,
It's got a
still not good, Paul.
real static. Something's up.
Hello?
A little better.
All right. Let me know if there's any more issues.
Sounds better.
Now it's
Okay.
beautiful.
5 by 5, as they say.
Welcome.
Well, what do you got?
I was counting on you.
I wanted to talk to you about that guy that was on here yesterday. That was, wow, man. That guy was really an idiot, man.
Oh,
Like
your boy
Jake-
Justin, who wouldn't show his face but was going to beat me up?
Yeah, exactly. He punched you in the jaw. Okay, he had to be like 20 years old, I'm guessing, and that was just pure ego talking there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they're all just tougher than me. I know I don't walk around town telling
They
people I'm
think
gonna
that
punch
way.
them in the face.
They think that way.
I don't
He
know.
wouldn't even show his face. I mean, how much balls can you have if you won't even show your face?
Joseph Johnston. Wizards all over him.
Yeah.
Now. Yeah, another fucking clown. I mean, what's the difference? Another day, another set of clowns who are going to pop at the mouth on the metaverse and do little to nothing in reality. So,
God, I look red.
who's the idiot, right? So at some point I really don't care, but I guess it's kind of funny to watch Anton. I don't know if anyone knows. I've spoke about him before. He went off on me again from the chat. He did a live. He gets about 2,000 live viewers. I went up on his panel one day. He threw me off. And he started tantruming and showing money. And he goes, no one wants to live like you. Because he was complaining one day why he had to go to court and do what other men said and why he didn't own his shit. So I went up to talk to him, and he got all freaked out, pissed off, threw me out. And he's been tantruming ever since. So he went on like a whole 5 or 10 minute rant about white people and how weak we all are.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Are you familiar with him, Cleveland? He's an African American
No.
artist. Yeah, he's
The only thing I know about him is what you've told me.
right. He's one of these pop culture guys. He's been with a few, fairly well-known folks. Does a fairly popular live. Gets a few hundred
That's probably
thousand.
why I don't know him.
Well, there you go. But, it's always fascinating to see and hear these folks at times and how they think and feel, and watch them project and, get insecure and egoic, and then claim to have the high ground. Oh, I'm the man in the room. Okay. You can say that. You can point to a trailer. You could show me a stack of money like this. Big fucking deal, bro. I'd go fucking empty out an account and show you a stack of money and put it back in there. Now what? You're still a fucking slave. So I'm never going to get away from that narrative. I guess at some point it's going to get old if it hasn't already. I'm tired of all these people, tired of what they point to and what they try to show rather than their character and their value systems. I don't care how much pussy you show me. I don't care how many fucking houses and cars, and it just doesn't move me. Maybe. And then he goes, I don't understand. Are you not a man? Right. And I go, maybe I'm not.
Oh, no.
Maybe I'm not as fucking manly and like normal and natural as the rest of you. Like, he's like, aren't we
The measure
supposed
of a man is his possessions, Paul?
Yeah, well,
His desire
again,
for possessions?
it started because he was reviewing this live of this beta cuck who I don't disagree with him. The kid's a beta cuck, but that had nothing to do with it. He was sitting there talking about, oh, I don't let no man around my woman. We're supposed to be territorial. I go, Anton, there's a fine line between protecting what's yours and showing your egoic insecurities, right? Why are you worried about letting men around your woman unless subconsciously you're worried that someone's going to take your bitch?
You should be there to protect her from harm, but otherwise,
Right, like you don't get to choose. I go, Anton, you're tricking, and this is simping. I don't care how much money you show and how you talk like you're a big dog. The reality of it is, pimping doesn't say nothing about, because I'll go back to his language, right? The African American culture and their language. They like to play these games. So then I put them up on the game, right? Pimping doesn't talk about the original beating on women and lying to them and controlling them like property. Pimpin' says, I'm the value. Woman chooses. If she's going to choose, she's going to stay. If not, she's going to go. She's going to find another daddy, right? So I don't understand these guys who act like, I'm up here fake pimping, I'm the man, and then they go, I'm not letting no other man around my bitch, as they put it, right? And I go, all you're doing is verifying that you feel low value and low worth with all that money and all that fake-ass power and all the rest of it. You still ain't secure with yourself and your relationship. So I don't know. Again, there's a fine line. I get it. It's in all of us. It can come up from time to time. The point is resting on that, standing on it, and then saying it's a virtue. I don't accept that. That territorial shit is animalistic, and it's illusory. It's a deception and a delusion. You can't control anybody else and what they do. You're better off not trying. This way, if you let something go and you love it and it comes back to say, it's there to stay. right? So doesn't mean I'm into beta cucking like Jeffrey and all the rest of it, because then he went on a narrative. He was triggered for like 10 minutes straight. I don't know. I don't even know if it matters. I guess since I'm talking about it, I'll fucking play it and see. It really, again, I don't care. I'm not like these people who go in there and go, oh my God, he talked about me. I'm so powerful. I just think it's fascinating that all the people getting the views when they do open panel and I go up there, they don't want to hear from me while they're crying about slavery. They throw me out and then show stacks of money and talk about bitches. He didn't do that today. He just went on a whole rant about white people and how he's going to make me famous, he said. So he see again, there's a fine line between trolling, talking the truth, and also creating a catalyst where he goes and does a broadcast about me one day and he becomes my next move. So Anton, don't do it, because I've been a little bit kind of stagnant lately. I don't consider it that, but from the metaverse point of view, from the viewer's point of view, they haven't seen too much growth. Don't be my next cataclysmic form of movement, right? Because if you do a damn broadcast about me with them 2,000 live viewers and that, how many's there? 147,000 subscribers. That's his second channel. His other channel's got 1.something million. Don't do it, Anton. Right? You're not ready. Right? You're punching down now, right? You made the big time. You're serious business. So, leave me alone. Why you stop your whole broadcast to get triggered over me? And he remembered me too, because he goes, I remember your punk ass. You were on camera and you're corny. Right? I might be corny, but you threw me out and ran and got scared.
Chick in the crib.
Yo, you want to know how she knew what she was doing? She did this one. That's how I knew, man. She started flexing them shoulders and them traps. I was like, oh, she not.
Oh. Look at this scene. This scene, Paul Enslaved said Anton is showing his insecurity and fragile ego. Yeah, whatever. Listen, call it whatever the fuck you want to do, but you never gonna put your hands on my chick. Call it what you want. Now, okay, Paul Enslaved, because I seen you came up. Corny you are. I know that you the type of dude that feel comfortable with another chick fucking on your girl. I'm not that type of guy. All right. So
I don't know what he just said. I think he just made a Freudian slip. He was talking about a guy fucking on your girl, right? But yeah, I'm totally cool with a chick fucking on my girl. So that was a Freudian slip. I have no problem with Jennifer and other women enjoying themselves and each other.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Right. So I think you, again, because you got that spirit of your mama, and you just keep making all these Freudian slips. You meant I'm cool with another guy fucking on my woman. It don't matter whether I'm cool with it or not, Anton. I'm not the one in charge of that decision, you punk ass bitch. This is that fake pimping, tricking, culture simping. Then he goes, follow God, not culture on his shirt, right? I love that. Because one day I was literally hitting him with all that shit and he threw me out for it. I go, Anton, you're an idol worshiper and an idol wannabe. I go, your whole broadcast is pop culture, American Idol. If you see the people he brings on, all these like rapper, celebrity, loser, lowlives, and they talk about nothing but bag chasing. We're getting to the bag, right? That's all like a bunch of stripper hoes. That's all they talk about. All these people, even Wes Watson, I'll jump out the window, right? All these guys, that's all they ever talk about. That's all that's in their heart and on their mind is getting to the bag. They sound like a bunch of stripper hoes. Got no freedom, rights, principles, can't talk barely, can't write a fucking letter. It's amazing.
Hey,
Sorry,
I'm old.
Who is that?
What is
now?
the bag? Does that mean money?
Yeah, we're getting to the bag, Talcott. That's the new lingo, right? Your whole life's supposed to just be about how you could chase a fucking bag. Right.
Yeah,
So if
there's a
getting
lot of
on here and talking about beta cucking and simping is going to get him another 100,000 views.
It might.
Well, he made a few $1,000 this broadcast. This guy makes a few thousand per broadcast, right? He makes somewhere between 300 to 500 to a few thousand per broadcast, just between super chats, cash apps, monetization, and the rest of it, right? I'm pretty well aware of what these folks do. I'm not pocket watching. They've just kind of talked about it at some point. And I see what it's all about, right? So they do, follow God, not culture, while they're buying 2 and 3 houses, They got a fucking Bentley. They're doing interviews with all these rapper douchebags, pimping culture, right? Pimping, poisoning culture onto their own people. You know, then blaming the white man. We always got to blame the white man at some point, right? If we don't blame the white man, we got to put the white man down. But all these bag chasing stripper hoes are always in countries where the white man created everything. You ever notice that? You ever notice that? They're always running to the Western world. They're never in countries full of brown people. These bag chasers, right? It's always Western worlds full of Europeans and white people. While they say, you know, and again, I'm not going to argue for that side because you know that I'm a pink and white gorilla. So I kind of ride the middle ground. I don't identify with any of it. I just call the hypocrisy where it's at. If you're going to call me a white boy and then go on a 10-minute rant about white people being weak, well, I'm not going to like defend it by default because I do the same thing on my broadcast. I say the majority of these white hoes are weak out here, male and female, right? Well, that doesn't really change whether you call them white, black, you know, yellow. They're all a bunch of weak-ass, bag-chasing stripper hoes to me who have no principles, rights, and freedoms. You know the game. So, greetings, Mr. Wizard, Brian O'Shea. Just ride along with me here. We'll see how much we could deal with this. I pulled this up earlier, then I was like, I'm not even going to go to it. And then I started talking about it, and I pulled it up, and here we are. Now I'm going to do a whole fucking rant on it. But,
yeah, my own mom and dad are baggers.
What you saying?
Baggers. My own mom and dad are baggers. Bag chasers? They're carpet baggers or what?
Baggers, period. Any bag that's got something in it. They're materialistic. I want what's in that bag. I ain't picking door number one, I want all 3 doors.
Yeah, this guy's a bitch. I'm tired of these fucking fake ass wannabe street people who never been nowhere and done nothing that get on here and yap with the spirit of their mama. This guy is the male Oprah, right? They say I do fucking View, that I'm the male View over here. They can't get it right. Either I'm the male View or I'm the Rikers Island holding tank. So either I'm a ghetto piece of trash, gun boy, lowlife, trailer dweller, or, you know, I'm the View. But this guy to me is the male Oprah, right? They never do nothing. They never stand for nothing. They never show you nothing. They just yap all fucking day. And they're way overpaid, right? So let's move on with it because I want him to get to the part where he starts whining and crying and getting triggered. And showing that spirit of his mama while he claims that we're all dogs and animals and we're real men.
I've actually seen you cam up before, right? And so you're telling me that you comfortable. I'm just curious because we all build differently. Maybe I got a fragile male ego. What the fuck is a fragile male ego? Ego is ego. Territory is territory. You don't let another dog inside of your house in order to be able to fill on your chick's shoulders and salsa dance on a fucking live stream. Where y'all from? Y'all ain't never had no fathers?
I ain't got no mama.
Your father ain't never told you not to let it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's not that I didn't have a father. I had a very abusive, controlling, domineering, egoic father. I didn't have a mama. So I never got that whole like attachment thing in me where I gotta like, you know, be attached to the hip with some woman who I call my monogamous wife. He's another monogamy boy who won't tell the truth, right? I got him on that one day too, you know, because I put it right to him. Anton, why are you always talking about pussy up here on these panels constantly? You're a monogamy boy. You got a wife. I don't get it. You're not talking about her pussy. It's always everyone else's. So what's the problem, right? So all these monogamy boys who swear to God that they're going to love a woman forever, then wind up broke up 6 months or a few years later and at court whining and crying. They don't understand what's going on. They say, Paul, you never had a dad. No, I didn't have a mama, and that's why I don't have a mama at home. Ironically, because I don't have a mom at home, now I got somewhat of a mom at home. Jennifer's my new mama. I told her yesterday. Right? I'm like, I'm so thankful and grateful. I never had a mama. Right, because now Jennifer, like she came in the trailer, she came out to see. You believe this woman comes out to see me, comes in here, cleans the whole place. Right, I go. You know, I don't even. She wants to do it, right, and it's just also because she probably doesn't want to live like how I live. I understand that. Right, I'm a single man. I'm grotesque. I'm Shrek. But you know, ultimately, I could tell it's because she cares for me also, and she wants to support me and help me. Yeah, so you know that feels good. Right, whatever that is, polyamorous, monogamous, I don't know what you call it, but our relationship feels good. There's trust there, there's a bond, and there's a care and appreciation on both sides. And I can talk about pussy as much as I want, apparently, and Jennifer's not going to treat me like she's my mama. Unlike that woman who was up there on the panel with him that one day, you should have seen her face. If you know, picture could talk, right? Pictures say 1,000 words on that woman's face who was on the panel. I'm pretty sure they're broken up now, but I don't want to say anything incorrect. Let's move forward. Let's get this the hell out of the way.
Touch your chick's waistline.
And yes, Anton, I don't mind. You can come over. He's so goofy looking. I love these people who think they put a fucking Rolex on and grow a beard and put the goofy clothes on. Like he's an attractive man, right? Like I don't know what women find attractive. I'd have to ask Jennifer. Jennifer, is he an attractive man? And be honest. Don't like fucking. Well, you're gonna be honest.
I'm gonna be honest.
Even just the whole like presentment.
The whole
He's
presentment's
just goofy,
the whole
right?
presentment's not attractive.
Yeah, and I could be goofy.
Yeah.
I could be like, you know, clowning around, but just this is his serious mode. Like, hey, I'm real. I'm serious. You
It's
know,
not
I'm
attractive
powerful.
When you have to like put on this whole thing to.
Yeah, and something about those glasses. I don't know. Just the whole thing.
What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah, Anton. No, I forgot to say what I was going to say. Anton could come over and dance with Jennifer or whoever's around because I'm not worried about it.
That is literally something that a woman would say. Fragile male ego. What the fuck is a fragile male ego? We built to be territorial. We monsters. We dogs. We savages.
He's a savage.
Don't you understand that in
He's
the
got a
times
lawyer
of
that
war,
split
the
up half
spoils
his
of war
house.
is
with
the
that
women
woman.
and the children that you then take as
Savage.
trophies?
We got ego. We're
the fuck is
savage.
wrong
What's a
with y'all?
fragile ego? This?
Fragile male ego.
Yeah, he's gonna end up with the house. She's gonna end up with the kids and child support.
Nah, he was crying on one of these panels. That's where we first got into it. That's why he threw me out. This is from today. And he remembered me from that day, right? We only had one interaction, and he threw me out because I was bitching him up in front of his whole audience. But yeah, this is the fragile male ego where you yap all this shit like Oprah with a loud mouth. And then when we go to the court, you fucking put your head down and let another man speak for you while I'm there running good game the same way I do on here.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me over your crib and let me salsa dance with your chick, and then let's see how
That's
that
fine.
goes.
I don't mind it.
Cool?
That's cool.
Cool?
I don't think Jennifer's going to leave me for Carlton Banks,
Keep
so I'm not
whining
worried.
and you'll show it. Listen, y'all. I think that white men. Let me be 100. Let me be.
I love
100.
these guys
This
who
is
talk
one of
here
the
he goes,
reasons
starting
why
out with,
like Destiny.
I think white men let me be 100. Okay.
White men are the weakest cuck type of dude.
So then I had to tell him, Anton, check the record, bro. Check the stats. Check the scoreboard, right? I'm certified. I'm on the streets. All the shit you all like to talk, all your cultural street lingo shit, you know, that some of us grew up with, right? Like, yeah, I'm that. In this field, right? You can't call me a bitch and a beta and all the rest of it. Like, you're a beta cuck to the state of and Shaitan. The devil's your daddy. Right? like what's his name says? Devil's your daddy. So, you know, all that follow God, not culture shit, that don't impress me. It don't faze me. I watch how a motherfucker walks and lives and how they speak and what they care about, what's in their heart. So tell me all about the white people who are so weak when, you know, again, African Americans at this point culturally are completely hijacked, mind and heart controlled, just only really exist to feed a beast system and get benefits and privileges from that corporate fascist system. So let's not even get into that. You know, and again, we don't have to play the division game. See, this is why this is bad, Anton. You're a deceiver. You almost got me there for a second. I almost took up the position for these crackers. Right, but let's just unite, okay? Let's just unite. There's some Panther brothers out there who might understand law. There's some Moors out there. They understand law, God's law. They're warriors, you know, in a garden, right? They're preparing on different levels. So why can't we have that conversation? There's some white boys down south and Midwest and all around who are, you know, preparing and standing on rights and freedoms and upholding God's law. If you're for God's law and not culture, why'd you throw me off? And why are you going into these racist rants? And why can't we have discussions about all of us being unified in rights, freedom, principles, and spiritual faith? Right. So I'm going to keep pushing this narrative now with him because he's a bitch. and I'm going to keep taking over his broadcast from a chat box, and I'm going to keep forcing his hand to put me back up on panel. And if not, I'm going to talk about him here. Maybe some folks will go back there and tell him he's a hoe because he reads the chat and he don't ever really respond, but he responds to me for some reason. I guess it was a memorable interaction for him.
In the world, white men, and no, I'm not stereotyping, this is really a thing, have a fetish for being cucks. Y'all feel comfortable enough for y'all chick getting fucked on by a black dude. That turns y'all on.
That's just you.
Y'all,
Yeah, so like let's have the discussion about mammalian behavior with Anton, who's like so low level consciousness he can't see unity without seeing division.
I wonder if
This is literally a culture who is known for having group sex events.
I
Are
was
you
just gonna
kidding?
say, I wonder if he's been involved in mutual masturbation. Can you confirm that, Jack?
Sir, please don't. This is a family broadcast. I'm saying it's well known in African American culture, training, right? 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on one woman. I know because she ain't yours. It's not the same thing, right? You know, so when it's yours, then it's cocking. I guess when you're in your ego, it's training. You know, but let's not play the game that like white people are into this whole we want a bunch of men in the room and one woman, and that African Americans ain't into it. You just all just don't own it and talk about it. That's the difference. See, African Americans, a lot of them culturally are very insecure about sexuality and taboos, and they won't go into it and talk about it. White people, a lot of times, will just, you know, explore it, as they say, right? To use some Caucasian lingo, we explore that a little bit. You know, you folks are not really exploratory, right? Even historically, white folks are exploratory. That's why they take everything over, right? Black folks don't really explore too much. They don't really leave the ghetto. And they don't leave their islands. So let's have a war now. Let's start a war between black and white people. Are you down? We're claiming Rob Cleveland though for our side. If I'm gonna have to identify with the white side, I'm claiming Rob Cleveland as one of ours.
Oh no.
You know why, Cleveland? Because they'll say you're not a real N-word because you don't believe in all their propaganda, worldly bullshit. So they're gonna throw you out anyway. So we're claiming you up front.
Damn, you do make a point there.
Yeah, right. I mean, even Joe Biden said it. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. He said that. He made that determination. So you already know you're cast out from the get-go. All right, let's hear him get triggered more about me. He actually goes on and then he stops. And then 10 minutes later starts with my name again and starts whining and crying and getting triggered. Then he said he's going to make me famous and do a whole broadcast about me and white people.
all are the ones that actually failed this in society. All right, you wanted to go there? You wanted to come over here inside of the chat? You wanted to chat up hard and do all of this other type of shit? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
Todd, you're such a bitch.
Let's have a
Then he
conversation.
told the moderators to block me in chat. Right? He's talking all this shit, won't bring me back up on panel because he got shook. And then he wants to, hey, moderators, you know what to do down there.
Are the failures in society. White men are the reason why white women then recruited black women in order to come over into the feminist movement. White men are the original MGTOWs. They're the ones that first created go your own way. White men are the weakest men in society today.
So we're weak
You
because
were once great.
we're
Don't you know how
independent and
great
win our
y'all
own
was at one
way.
point? Y'all fucking came over here and y'all conquered this whole continent. The whole continent. Y'all fought for greatness.
Allegedly.
You went and finessed Africans into selling themselves over to y'all in order to be able to build the country. Don't you know how great y'all was at
Oh,
one time?
wow.
You are a shell of your fathers. Listen, I think that black
So are
sex
you.
and black women is 1A and 1B as far as the greatest enemies of what's happening in society.
As far
Don't
as
you
society has
understand-
gone
hold on,
downhill,
hold on. We gonna
everybody's
come back
a
to this
shell of
video.
their fathers.
Yep.
Listen, just let him, please. Just let him rant and let's get through this. And then I'm going to respond. And even it doesn't, I really shouldn't even be responding to any of this. But, you know, just try to let him dig his hole deeper and deeper as time goes on. Because he's getting pretty big now, and he's showing himself more and more to be who and what he is. And again, the narrative doesn't fit. So he just took an opportunity to look at me and what I looked like, and went on a racist rant and diatribe, but never addressed the facts. On the record, you're a hoe. On the record, I'm the closest thing to God that you got, because I go to jail over and over again and stand for something. You're a punk ass bitch who does a broadcast with Charleston White and all the rest of these people who, got somewhere by talking, playing characters and actors, right? Never really did too much. Charleston White is in the community. He does community activism, so I'm not going to lump him in just because he was on that broadcast.
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of wondering if he's even going to mention God again, because you mentioned that earlier on. Follow God, not culture, right there on his shirt. And everything he's talked about so far has been the differences between cultures, and nothing's been about God at all.
Well, right, but this is why it is whatever you call the devil, the deceiver, because they sit there and masquerade as spiritually faithful folks and godly folks and religious folks, and they do whole kill, steal, destroy, divide rants about colorism. So they're color identified, they're culturally identified, and then they're going to make bizarre statements like, if we're going to do the color game and play the game, African Americans statistically are some of the weakest people in the system. Like naturally, they're probably some of the strongest, as they say. The melanated peoples. That's why sports is dominated by African Americans. And now I'm using their terms. Now I can't believe I'm using their terms. It starts off as a bit. Now I'm like African Americans. Now I'm using their fucking terms, like Barack Obama. Black folks dominate sports, right? Because they're some of the most physical people, right? As they did the Jimmy the Greek non-bit, where he was saying, well, black people got really hard skulls, and we could go into that discussion. It's a bit non-bit, right? It doesn't matter. It's like there's a reason why this shit happens. So I get it. We could meet down the middle. African folks, black folks are probably some of the more physically powerful, dominant specimens. Do you want to then have a discussion about intellect and art and emotional control and the rest of it? Because I don't think you're going to win that one, right? It's the European, regardless of what you think about them as another slave race, because this is one race of humans. There's not actually races, and they're all slaves, one way or the other, really. Historically, throughout time, all of them, fucking slaves, peasant slaves. If you ain't king, you're a slave. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. So what was I saying, Rob Cleveland? It's like I try to make some kind of point and go somewhere with it. Maybe that's why Anton doesn't do panels. It's very infrequent. So I was saying something about European folks and pretty much all of modern day civilization being created by and or dominated by Europeans, which of course are Caucasians. So, again, every time there's a war with brown people anywhere, a brown on brown war, they're yelling for white people to come save them, is what I've noticed.
Yeah.
So let's not play this game, Anton, because see, this is what you all live for. You live to divide the slaves among color, and I can have that discussion. You'll lose there too if you want to play ego competition games, because you called me a white man. I don't call myself that, but I'll play the game. But we could just put that game aside and say, hey, we're all slaves. We're all numbered. You were bitching about barristers running your life and a court system running your life. I could agree with that. That's why I do what the fuck I do. And well, that's why you do what you do. Because you're a kept domesticated culture slave, idol worshiper, idol wannabe, American Idol. Right? I'm not one of those beings. You were saying? Someone was saying? Someone was bellowing. Hello?
Oh, who?
Said, yeah. Agreed.
Right.
I agree 100%, Paul. You nailed it.
All right, move forward.
He shouldn't even brought it up.
Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Let me just cook for a minute. Don't y'all understand that you have nothing?
Oh, and then also at some point he went on to rant, and then he used the word stoic. So I pointed out, you might not want to talk about who's lacking intelligent or who's weak or who's this or who's that when you pronounce the word stoic, right? Doesn't exactly
Damn.
vote well for the, you know, stereo. This is what I mean. See, and this is why it's uncomfortable for Cleveland, because he's forced to identify. When we get into these games, he's like, man, I'm black. Why are you doing this? Why are you coming out here and acting like this, getting all emotional, acting like Oprah, yelling and screaming, and then mispronouncing words like you're intelligent? Right?
Acting like a cuck and calling other people cucks.
Yeah, it just looks bad for black folks. You know, and again, this is why I encourage people. Not everybody who looks like your people is your people. So don't do the whole colorism identification game. It's a slippery slope for it to happen. You watched how I almost did it right there. I even did it for a second. I stepped right back out of it.
Thank
you.
All skin folk ain't kid folk.
Everyone's talking over me today. I can't even get through anything here. Go ahead, fellas. I go to people. No one says anything. I go to talk. People talk over me. I just want to do a broadcast. You know?
I was just going to say some of us, our mom and dads aren't even our mom and dads anymore. Funny how that works.
Right. But that's God over culture, right? Because there's the original culture is the family. That's the original Petri dish, right? So it's God over culture. I don't want to be part of the Petri dish culture if it's not in line with the supernatural walk and way and understanding. So again, Wizard has talked about this before, hate your father, whatever in the scripture. It's just an idea. It doesn't mean actually hate them. It means you should be rebuking the infidel scum. And you should definitely not be living and acting like one and putting me off a panel talking about a free life on the land, self-sustainable, then say no one wants to live like that. We don't want to give up our condos, he said. We don't want to give up our condos and our nice houses. I go, yeah, well, you don't want your rights and freedoms either, and you want to be in debt all your life. Doesn't matter how much bag chasing you do, stripper hoe. It's never enough because you folks don't know how to live within your means. So when you get to 100,000, you owe $1 million. When you get to $1 million, you owe 10 million. That's the nature of the game. That's the nature of the way you fucking think and live because you're a house slave. You never get off the plantation one way or the other. Let's continue.
Anymore. You are the most fragile.
No.
The most fragile in society. I can call you anything. You are the most unprotected, fragile, weakest. As a whole, y'all only slightly ahead of black people when it comes to how much money y'all make. Y'all women don't respect y'all. Y'all dicks are little.
Anton now like showing his fragile male ego and going over every stereotypical thing he thinks he knows about white people that doesn't necessarily apply.
Well, I'm proving that he thinks it's about size and this and that. And it's, again, that's all the materialistic BS.
But this is why I told him one day indirectly, and then we had to get down to it. I said, Anton, you're married to a fuck girl because you're a fuck boy. You're married to a goofy bitch who's only looking for a big dick and a big bag. She don't give a fuck about your mind, heart, and spirit, right? Just like you don't. So these are all perfect for each other. You're worldly reprobate scum, and that's why you wind up at court 90% of the time because of the way you think, feel, live, and act and how you speak, which verifies it. So, again, you know, oh, my dick's little. Okay. Nobody's sitting around talking about Alexander the Great or any other white man because his statue was built with a little dick. That's not how that works, you know.
Motherfuckers up every day and I give you $5 in order to go and get some lunch. It's no white person in society that should be begging for a handout on the side of the road. You are broken. You are nothing. No white man in society can control you. Bro, you don't even have no own power. You can't even control what's in your own household. The white men of today is a shell of the white men of yesteryear because the white men of yesteryear, they was beasts. They was monsters. I got respect for y'all fathers.
I think I'd like to have a conversation with this man as well.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to see that motherfucker face to face.
The bottom line is he used me and his projection to go off on a racist rant about white people, but never addressed who I am and what I do versus who he is and what he does. So that's a cute little speech about stereotypical feelers and nonsense, but it doesn't actually go anywhere like man to man checking the stats in the record. So, you know, that is the weakest shit you could do, really.
None of you. The white men of today, I have zero respect for you. Zero. There is not a white man on this earth right now that I have respect for.
There's your agent.
And look,
I'm an equal accountability smoke giver.
The bullshit. The
you know
bullshit
every
lies.
white man on earth?
White man that can stand up to me. I dare you to go and protest somewhere. You will be canceled tomorrow. We will find out where you don't have no protection.
So now he turns around and says that it's stronger to use a system to cancel people with political correctness because African Americans have been billed as so fucking weak that you just say something, they get emotional and triggered like their mama because they didn't have a daddy and then got to use the system to get people canceled. What kind of logic is that?
That's beta cuck logic.
Right. This is of the state. Devil. The state is your devil and your daddy. And it tells you that you're strong because you could go get together with other brown-skinned folks and get white people canceled with political correctness. This is pathetic.
You don't have no protection in your own household. Your kids don't love you. Your daughters is out here slumming trying to get some black dick. We don't respect none of y'all. No white man on the face of this fucking earth is respected. You know what our women do when our women can't get no more of us? When it's too many black dudes that's not dealing with the baby mamas, you know what they do? They go and find you punk ass motherfucker.
No, that's not how it goes, Anton. You're remixing. When a woman can't feel true love and connectivity to life with folks like you, they go and find a nice little dick white man like me with big lips.
Because you
Kiss and love on her. Thank you, sir. I'm not done yet. Please help me. Help me help you. Okay, I really, because this is between, it's me and Anton, right? This is a me and Anton thing right now. We're the only ones in the room in my world, right? Because I'm calling Anton out for being a bitch and a hoe and getting triggered and showing who and what he is while claiming that I'm that and other white men, whatever that is, are that. So that's not how that goes. When the baby mama's tired of folks like you, and you're, I'm going to say it, Cleveland, forgive me. Your bad credit scores? Yeah, I said it. Okay. When the baby mom is tired of you and your bad credit, that big dick and bad credit, right? And that big mouth of yours with no heart, right? No real principles. She come find a little dick white man like me to love on and kiss on and be loyal to, right? Because I stand for something. She thinks maybe I might protect her and them women and children. Not say this hoe ain't shit and embarrass her in public, because again, I don't stand for rights, freedom, principles, and got big dick but bad credit and don't know the difference between stoic and stoic. I think stoic is a type of sauce. Stoic is a principle embodied usually by white men, ironically, throughout history. All right, we're back to the white and black game. So let's play the white. Come on down, play the music. The white and black game. So he can't pronounce stoic or stoic and doesn't understand stoicism was pioneered by white philosophers. It was predicated upon the idea of detachment, which was viewed as the ultimate strength and control over oneself and therefore one's own battlefield. You folks, see, we're doing the white and black game. We're going to trigger people here today. You folks wouldn't know about that. You get triggered on the subway, punch someone in the face, and go do prison time. Because you can't control your emotions. A lot of you. Right? And again, this doesn't start and end with black or white folks. It's a type of beingness. Right? It's a childlike beingness who, like he projected, really didn't have any men in the home. So you had nothing but yapping emotional women who would make the situation worse, exacerbate it, escalate it. Right? You never really had any stoic, as you say, Anton, you never had any stoic men around who were able to take control of the situation and bring a calming, control, balance, and order back to the situation with reason, logic, and understanding and wisdom. Okay, so let's get back to it.
It's because they know that you're gonna simp out for them. You have nothing. You have no power, no control over what goes on to the country. You are cucks. Right? That's why y'all keep trying to say these hoes. That's why y'all was the first ones to create the MGTOW movement, because you was the first simps.
No, Anton, that's called being daddy. That's that father you talked about that you must have not had, because women are women. And again, there's women, there's bitches and hoes. We could talk about that, but guess what? Bitches and hoes are still women. There's a broken little girl there, just like there's a broken little boy in you. So it ain't simping and it ain't being Captain Save-A-Ho to try to give a woman some good game to take her out the streets and off of a toxic culture where she's selling her body and destroying herself and her family. That's not simping, Anton. See, you're tricking with all that money, bag chasing, and bullshit game you got, right? Which really, it ain't that good game to someone like me who knows the truth, right? See, folks like you, the game is to be sold, not told. You don't even know the game. But your fake ass game, you're trying to sell it, not even tell it, right? I just tell it all. So that ain't simping or tricking to be a man and to lead a woman where she needs to go, not where you want her to go, because you all want to pay for pussy. So you'll sit there and say, you are all simping and you shouldn't try to Captain Save-A-Ho, then go out to the bar and try to buy your way into some pussy with drinks and whatever the fuck else. Right? So let's just call it as it is. You don't know what a man is. You don't know how to lead. And you are so egoic. You see division where there's only unity. And you see unity in division. Black and white games.
You were the first simps. You have nothing. Nothing. You have no power. You can't control nothing. You losing your jobs. Y'all getting me too'd.
Right.
And when I see you punk ass motherfucker,
I don't get that.
I'ma just walk right past you and I'ma laugh at you.
Oh, he just said when he sees you motherfuckers, white people apparently, because he's off on a racist rant, at family court. Why are you at family court, Anton? There you go. Because see, I didn't even hear this part. I just stopped it at the part we started talking about me, and I figured we'll listen to it all later and see how far it goes. So he remembers the day I came up months back when I was on the other land and talked about family court and how he's a hoe and how he wouldn't see me there because I wouldn't be there. And if I was there, I wouldn't be there under the same circumstances as him with another man speaking for me, because that's what hoes do, Anton. You said you go to family court and got a lawyer because now see that face, how angry and bitter. Don't matter how much bag you've been chasing, right? Pussy and bags you've been chasing. I was going to make a joke there, but it's a family broadcast. I won't get into it, the comparison. It doesn't matter how much of that you chase and how much you think you got. You're angry and you're bitter and you're resentful and you're powerless. So you're going to project false strength because when you go to family court, you got to have a white man speak for you, Anton. Ain't no black lawyers at that court worth anything. You know it. Come on, Anton. Oh, did Cleveland leave? I didn't want to trigger Cleveland. Cleveland, are you triggered over this white-black discussion? I'll stop it right now. Okay, Cleveland is my official African-American ambassador and correspondent here. I don't want to trigger him. But Anton, cut it out. You know you got to go get yourself a nice Jewish lawyer when you go to court, because those are guys who make things happen. Oh, let me get in here for Anton's face in case he sees this. He's too important to remember me or watch me or have panel discussions with me. But you got to go get yourself a nice white Jewish lawyer when you're at family court, right? Yeah, right. There ain't no black lawyers at court worth anything. Typically. I don't want to be stereotypical, but from what I've seen, all the good lawyers, all the good scum who are good at like manipulating and getting you what you want and need because you can't do it yourself, you punk ass bitch, because you're a hoe at court and on the streets, you got to go get a white daddy to pimp for you at that court, put that suit on and spit that good game so that the judge gives you half or more of your shit back, right? So let's keep it all the way real. We're African Americans always say we like to keep it real. Let's keep it all the way real about white and black. So go to the court full of white people who run your fucking life, goofy, and go hire a white man to be your daddy and speak for you, goofy, at court, and then talk about white and black people, who's weak and who's not. So I don't fall into that category. I'm not on either side. I'm not a weak black bitch, and I'm not a weak white bitch with a costume on, right? So I'm not on either side.
Hey, you keeping it real? I ain't been triggered. I just, you know, it's time for me. It's almost bedtime for me.
All right. I figured that, Cleveland. Go get some rest, man. If you got to get rest. This is a hard-working African-American man. All right, let's get back to it.
Y'all going to jail? Now you out here trying to murder and kill y'all chicks now because you have no power whatsoever. You're nothing. You're but a smidgen in this country.
Triggered.
You're being overtaken. You can't control your borders. You don't even know how to vote right. Most of y'all women are literally liberals.
When did this all become a white country, by the way? This is the level of the race.
He's making it sound like it's all white.
I don't even know if this guy knows what he's talking about, honestly.
He doesn't at all. But this is like, again, the level of 2,000 live viewers, millions of subscribers, all the, popular folks of the time nowadays are on these people's broadcasts. I don't mean you people, these people, like those people. I mean you people, these people, like worldly infidels. I don't do the colorism game. All right. But since he wants to do the colorism game, I figure it's quite fun, because usually when African-American folks are yelling like this and screaming and emotional, there's very little facts to what they're saying. And if they would just observe the facts, we could all get better instead of just dividing and playing us versus them, this versus that games.
That's it.
Each other. So it's not a white or black country. America is the one place where it's supposed to be. We're all created equal. And then you remain equal by your character and your merit. If you're a dishonorable, bad faith heathen, you get treated as such. Okay? So, maybe we might want to think about that.
Going into these indoctrination camps, and the thing that we need to protect ourselves against is your influence, because you one of the reasons why black women felt comfortable enough to go over into the feminist movement in the first place. You nothing to me. You're absolutely nothing.
So it wasn't the control, domination, ridiculous rates of prison time and recidivism in the African-American community, the fatherless homes. It wasn't the need for benefits and privileges and welfare systems and all the rest of it. It was white men who convinced African-American women to go over to the feminist movement. It wasn't literally the young black men driving young black women out of the households and out of the community into other political parties and communities to seek refuge, essentially, because they believed what you taught them. Because, again, what the men believe, as you just espoused, is that the system's where all the power is. You just said that. So if you taught black women that, then black women would go to the system and other quote unquote colors and cultures to seek refuge from your cultural feces, right? Because one thing we know is all culture is an enemy, but quote unquote black culture is a toxic disease on this planet right now. Okay. I don't mean African culture. Follow me closely. I mean the white bread, right? Billionaire promoted and funded, pushed by white folks at the top, toxic street level thug gangster prison culture that I grew up in and around. Okay. And I saw firsthand the wages of, because it was colorless on the street. It's a state of mind and beingness, right? It's a culture that's colorless. It's just dominated by black folks. So I found myself with the drugs and the gangs and the jails and all the rest of it, because I thought that was my culture, right? Growing up in New York, as they say, with certain music and certain kind of people living and walking and talking a certain way. We all started to believe that's who and what we were at the core. And many of us, white, black, and different, suffered for it by our own choice. So if you had any honor, you'd be not only not dividing white and black people, you wouldn't be shitting on white people. You'd be taking accountability for the African American community, whatever that is, and the African American culture, whatever that is, and you'd be ranting and railing against that and saying that typically in the inner city, the biggest threat to another black male is another black male. It's not really white folks coming into African American communities shooting and killing everybody's children. It's other young black men doing it. So let's get really real with ourselves and each other, Anton. Let's work together and let's destroy toxic culture regardless of the color, because culture, the root word is cult, right? So we don't need cults regardless of color, and we don't need mass death and genocide and slavery and mind and heart control and toxicity. It's one thing to listen to the music and to get a spirit from it. It tells a story about a real reality. It's another thing to promote this and live like this and divide and act like there's some strength to it. And then the other side of that, be a civilized African-American who thinks there's power in using the system. You have to find a middle ground, Anton. You can't be a gang-banging street thug lowlife, and you can't be a house slave, house Negro who works with the white man to use the system to disempower everybody. You got to hit a middle ground with us, right? We have to be honorable, good faith men of principle who uphold God's law and God-given rights as Americans first, colorless, Anton. Or get the fuck out and go back to the motherland, Africa, and tell us all about what you and the rest of the brown folks are going to do for the community, because I don't see it. I don't see communities on any level. I see a bunch of individual, divided, disempowered, toxically cultured slaves.
You got to look at what information he's looking at that he comes to this opinion. I mean, I think he's way off base totally in what he's saying.
He's pushing a narrative.
Yeah, well, that's why someone came on the Paul and Slave channel today, because I did a double music live, and they said this channel's going down fast. I go, where have you been? I've been shadow banned since the beginning. I went and got to a certain number of subscribers. Everyone heard about me and knew about me in this community. I went on many different broadcasts, and then stuff happened. And I never got any growth, and I started losing subscribers, and they started blocking my channel and making false claims, and I had to move over. They started playing games over here as well. So there's a reason why that's done to me for just talking and upholding God's law and God-given rights and principles. And then they want to now say, I'm the ghetto lowlife trash because I play certain music and videos early in the morning to show a reality and to trigger folks and to start a conversation. And because, yeah, it's part of, I guess on some level, who I am or who I became or what my life has become, right? Because, again, I grew up with this culture and this idea, this identity. I think I've moved beyond it in a lot of ways. I think that I've changed my life and what I stand for, but it's still there because, again, it's rooted in an idea. It's a street idea of men of honor. This is an Italian thing. It's an Irish thing, right? You can call it a black thing. There's certain men on the street who carry themselves a certain way. They don't care about policies and codes, and ultimately they're going to do what they want. So you better hope that they're good men who stand true and have principles, and that's why I say we need that. Because it's not about ego and bravado walking around town with your nuts hanging, right? You really shouldn't be doing that anyway in front of the creator and the creation. The idea is you have to stand for something to feel like a man in this realm. And a lot of times in culture, the good citizen is not that. It's men on the street who don't observe the everyday codes and policies. They live by their own rules. They live by their own codes, their own agreements, and it's about honor. If you say something, you do it. If you don't, there's discipline. Okay, so it's not about gangsterism and thuggism. It's about what was once an idea that has turned into that, where you have to police yourself and your community. You have to support each other. You have to discipline yourselves and each other in various ways, if necessary. If not, then someone else is going to come in and do it for you, and we know who that is. And when they do it, they're going to claim everything's bad and wrong, and everyone's got to go for safety. Okay, so whether it's, the original pimping, proper instruction motivates people, as I'll put it forth now, which is raising folks up and getting them out of the street, but keeping them empowered and secure within themselves, upholding God's law and not wavering. You can't serve two masters. So, go talk to the Islamic folks, the 5% black folks, Anton. Go talk to some of the Black Panthers, Anton, not the racist scum like you. Go talk to the ones who came up in those communities and understand the same principles I'm talking and would probably give their life or go to a box to stand on it. Color aside, you ain't that.
To me, at all. I have no respect for you. Not even a little bit. You're weak. You're weak. And your dick is little. Like that for your fragile male ego.
He's gonna double down on that.
How dare a white man sit here and try to have a conversation with me? I know what you look like. I know where you from. I seen you cam up before. You corny, bro. Don't ever.
That's why you got
Don't
scared and
ever
threw me
sit
out.
here and think that you can have a conversation with me.
He's too good.
We not the same.
He's too
you
cool.
Weak. We take
too
what
strong
we want.
and cool.
We take what we want.
Right. You're a bitch.
Right.
And if
That's
he
why
say
go to
anything
jail for
disrespectful
taking
in the
shit.
chat, y'all know how to deal with him.
There you
Because
go.
guess what?
There you go. He just gave the moderators a nod with his systemic mindset that they should block me and censor me because even from a chat, I'm more powerful than you. You take what you want. You don't take shit. Come on here and tap dance for the masters, shuck and jive like a house slave, collect a bag, and then go back to your bullshit lifestyle. Don't stand for nothing. Then go to family court, get your shit taken back by the white man, right?
Yep.
I don't live like that. So that's the difference. Again, another person using color, a mask, right? This is another blackface actor who's going to tell my story and call it his. I take what the fuck I want. Have you not noticed? One way or the other, good, bad, or indifferent, for rights and freedoms and principles, or when I was on the street being a scumbag lowlife. I take what the fuck I want. So, and it's not about even glorifying that in a negative way. When it comes to a positive, right, that's a virtue. Standing for what's true and what's right, unwavering, and stepping out into that power and saying, these are my God-given rights and freedoms, and you ain't going to have them, right? I'm taking that back. I'm going to stop giving that away, or I'm taking that back. You don't live like that. You don't live like that on the street, and you don't live like that when it comes to metaphysical, spiritual, or American principles.
He don't even have no power over here. He watching us to see how it is that we moving because we taking over everything. We taking over everything. Now.
Stop bitching.
You ever taken any dance classes?
I used to compete in ballroom dancing.
Hey,
let me go. Let me fast forward.
You and Ayla
had to take.
Yeah.
I promised y'all I was gonna give y'all a great show today.
Great show,
I
Anton.
promised y'all I was gonna give y'all a straight show today. Listen. The one thing that you can say about me, you can say a lot of things, but the one thing you can't say about me is that I do not discriminate. I don't care if you're a black man, a black woman, a white man, a white woman. Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. Now, if you want me to read you for filth and tell you who you really are, then show up and say some egregious shit. And I'm going to deal with you accordingly. If you want me to read you for filth and tell you who you really are, show up and say something egregious and I'm going to deal with you accordingly. You can get it too. You can get it too.
Exactly.
Oh, you guys over here, this fucking
weird?
perfect form.
I haven't done it in so long.
Wait, what kind
back
of
to where I was?
Easy.
True. I should have turned up the R&B.
It's with another man.
I was getting.
That's how I knew, man. She started flexing them shoulders and them traps. I was like, oh, she's not fucking playing.
I was getting footage for his next puck video on me. Thanks.
Oh my God, he let his wife dance with another man.
Abba is smart. Abba is smart. You may not necessarily agree with his takes. You may not necessarily agree with a lot of the different things that he does. But the one thing that we know for sure is that Abba is smart enough to actually know exactly what the narrative is going to be. And he knew what he was doing. If Abba and Destiny is friends, then this is not the type of friend that you want because he's embarrassing you in your own crib. Maybe they're not friends. Maybe they just jumping on a live stream. And this is why a woman then feels comfortable enough where she feels like she needs to hug him in order to make, oh, honey, because I love you. You don't really care about it. And then meanwhile, she'll go over there and take the whole D. She'll go, look, no, I got to hug you, honey, because we were just playing. Deceit. The original deceivers. Abba is not Destiny's friend by doing that because he's smart enough to know what the narrative is going to be as a result of it. And that's why he did it. Come on, man.
What?
You make it sound like we was grinding or some shit. Like, yo, chill, be easy.
True. I should have turned up the R&B.
Yo, you could put a lot of crazy music.
I should probably try that sometime, for real.
What?
So, like, just to see, because I just need to like know the basic steps.
Yeah.
Oh, Jack, have you ever heard that?
Why y'all keep, hold on, wait. Y'all keep telling me that, Anton, it's okay because Destiny is bisexual and in an open relationship. Bro, y'all got, but it is the same thing, bro. Nothing at all.
I'm still moving
Now watch
ahead.
her. He touch him on the
He does a little bit sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. He went and said one more thing here, and then I'm going to move off of it. He might have said more, but I'm not going to go through all the middle of it to find it again. He could say whatever. It just proves that he got triggered and remembers me and, throws me out and talks a whole bunch of shit but won't have me up. And it's not about me and him. It's about the truth. All right. The truth is powerful. So when you bring it on these panels, they get into their insecure ego and they try to use control and moderators and throw you out and paint narratives about white and black and all the rest of it. Political narratives, spiritual narratives. And none of it's real and true. If it was real and true, you'd have me right there in your face like I do with everybody, and you'd welcome the interaction. You'd welcome the questioning, the controversy, interaction. You don't do that because you're a bag chaser. So cut that God shit out. I'm sick of all these people claiming God and all the rest of it. The worldly, reprobate infidels chasing money and pussy. And then they can't even be honest about that. Where are we at here? Oh, yeah, okay. I think this should be where it was at, and then we'll move past it. I'm over it. I'm sure you folks are too.
all because of a dude named Paul Unslave. Don't worry about it. We gonna get there. It's your turn, white man. White man. White man. It's your turn, white man. We coming in y'all neighborhoods. We putting barbecue pits on the fucking lawns. We gonna kick over your kids' toys.
I bet you ain't gonna do none of that.
Over your kids' toys.
I bet you ain't gonna do none of that.
We gonna fuck on y'all women because you
Nope.
know they love the D. They love the D. Don't worry about it. I get you. I'm gonna put together a whole live stream just because y'all let a motherfucker named Paul Unslave get out of the insane asylum, and he wanted to have his conversations.
Now, I find that interesting too, because it's like, again, maybe another coincidence that I read too much into it, because I've talked about at one point my father, back when I was using certain substances and having conversations about consciousness and interdimensionals, and I was just posing questions. I wasn't saying I was seeing things, hearing things. I was just questioning the nature of consciousness. Are there multiple consciousnesses here, interdimensional, off planet? And that was crazy talk. So I was taken to an insane asylum, and I was let out rather quickly, proving I was not actually insane by their metric. So I just find it an interesting coincidence that these folks either seem to know about me or are saying something offhanded that's kind of a coincidence.
Yeah, synchronicity.
Yeah, so like I don't know what that means is because y'all want to let someone like me out of an asylum. Now something has to happen. What, like, because this is what I found in this is I'm not egoic, and I never thought I was this powerful and had this much control over other people's inner space with truth. And I find more as this goes on, I must be a very powerful, enlightening being, because I get even folks who have millions of subscribers, hundreds of thousands of live viewers just from a chat box to make whole broadcasts about me at some point, and then make comments as if they know who I am, or I don't know. It's very bizarre. It's a very bizarre experience. I'm bringing you through my experience and just kind of giving you how it would look and feel to see this and go, well, this would be the walk of objective truth. The closer you are to it and the more that you speak it in an empowered way, the more it's going to affect folks like this one way or the other. So that's what I'm here to do one way or the other, and I rather enjoy that, and I think there's some purpose to it beyond just my ego and my enjoyment. I think that's why I enjoy it, because I think on some level the gods, or whatever you think the creational force, smiles a little bit every time these folks trip over their own words and their own ego bullshit and expose themselves for who and what they are while claiming the name of that most high consciousness, unless they're saying they follow God of this world, not culture, in which case it wouldn't make sense, because culture is of the God of this world, it would seem to me.
Okay. Remember,
he's mad.
Remember, you did this.
I did this,
not me.
What are you gonna do, Anton?
You did this.
I wonder how much these people are Masonic and work with the system and know more than they let on about. And I don't mean Masonic in a general sense, like all Masons are evil. Like, I mean dark Masons, pun intended, I guess. Black Masons, dark square Masons. I wonder how many dark Masons there are who actually know, because I've seen some of the symbols and I've heard some of the lingo, and I don't know, where there's smoke, there tends to be fire. And when you see folks with all the top rappers and other folks, you start to wonder, well, who gave them the entree? Is it a genuine growth and development from the bottom up, or is it an actual plant type person? Because it's not what you know, it's who you know oftentimes. So I just find it curious. But we'll see what Anton has prepared for me, what he has planned for me, because they should have never let me out.
Your time is coming, white man. I got you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
he's mad.
So we have another black man.
All right, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to let it go. Your thoughts on that expert panel? Let's see what you got, Anton. I'm a gambler. You should know that if you know anything about me, presuming you do. Maybe it's a coincidence, and you're just real angry at me for some reason. But yeah, I'm interested to see what you got for me and all your little buddies and friends.
Except for demonstrating who he was, I don't think that was very even worth listening to, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's certainly not somebody that's going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just like calling out punk ass bitches like him and the rest of them.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty
I
funny.
want to see you. No. I want to see you come do something to me, or have something done and feel like some kind of man. Because you might be able to have it done, but that don't mean you're going to come do it. And I'll say, yeah, they did it, but you didn't.
Well, yeah, and that's where he placates that all the white men are getting their shit taken, yet he's the one going to family court having his kids taken. Right? How does that work?
Hey, Paul, I'm sharing that. That's the thumbnail for my restream today.
Oh man, Talcott.
So,
you're going in on the thumbnails lately.
well, you know, God is interesting, man. So, oops, yeah, I pulled it. That was the clip for the thumbnail. Sharing time with my brother from another mother, and this brother Anton, what the hell is he saying? It sounds like I'd like to have some conversation.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal a line from Talcott. I would love to fucking meet you face to face. Fucking punk ass black bitch. You want to play that white and black shit? I don't give a fuck. There's real motherfuckers on the ground, colorless, who know you're a punk ass bitch. And I'm not saying I'm like that. I'm just saying you ain't. So stop talking like you are and stop making this a black or white thing. You're a punk ass bitch. You never been nowhere and done nothing. You let other men talk for you. I at least get respect in the street because I go to jail over and over again. What do you think black people are going to respect more? Anton, the color of your big black dick or the color of that fucking rap sheet and how I talk and walk and what I stand for, which is more for them than you do, you black house slave.
He's one of the ones they're going to house him in one of their cells for at least a week to train him how to act in the room.
What I want to see is I want to see him share that conversation with Wes Watson after you and I have had conversations with Wes Watson, of course. But let him tell that punk ass shit.
Watson, they could listen. They could both beat me up. I'm not going to play games like about beating up and physicality. Okay, Anton can beat me up. Wes Watson can beat me up. Great. And I'm going to sit there and go, you're both bitches for this reason. And I'm going to tell them like I tell everybody, don't fucking come at me with the bullshit, right? I don't care who you are. This is the same standard and metric for everybody. I'm a man. You're a man. God-given rights. Boom. We're done. Have the conversation. If you don't get what the fuck I'm talking about and you won't stand on it, you're a punk ass bitch or you're retarded. Accept it. Okay? Your development and growth has been retarded and arrested. You're not a man to me. Give a fuck. You point to your muscles, your cars, your pussy, and all the rest of it. I don't give a fuck. You gave it all to me tomorrow, I still wouldn't give a fuck. Okay? It's about what's in here. What's in here and what's in here and what the fuck you stand on. That's what's going to make you or break you one way or the other at the end of this. Right? Everyone keeps forgetting you got to go to the end of this. Sit on your fucking deathbed and look at what you've done and not done, you punk ass coward. How dare you talk to me in a chat or anywhere the way you do and play your games with me? Like you said, you could sit up on your broadcast because you got control. The creational force knows the truth. How dare you disrespect me and blaspheme me and the truth and what I stand for and walk with, you black house slave hoe. You don't do nothing. Go to court, talk to your white daddy who's going to be your lawyer and hope that he gets you half of your shit given back to you by your masters. I don't move that way. And I suspect if I ever have to go to jail or prison, then black folks in there are going to respect me a whole lot, hell of a more than they respect someone like you. That's what I'm riding with.
Paul, this could be a perfect opportunity. We don't know what the opportunity is yet, but it's interesting.
It could be a great opportunity. The reason I went up there originally was to build with him, and he didn't want to build. He wanted to destroy. So let's have at it, right? You want to talk about, all this other high power shit? Let's have at it. I'm built to be destroyed. I've been kamikaze since day one. Check the record. That's why you all say Paulie's like 5150. The asylum let him out. Whatever. I'm crazy like a fox. I'm not dangerous to nobody except myself, maybe at one time. Okay? And I'm dangerous to motherfuckers who want to take my rights, freedom, and property, metaphysically.
Hey, brother. Amen. Here's one thing. I don't know if we differ in this idea or not, but I see this guy and many others, they're knuckleheads who have risen up, and they do have some reach. So if we can convince them, show them that they've kind of misled themselves in this pursuit of chasing the bag.
I can't find it because it'd be ridiculous to go through all that. It's months ago. But if you see the way it came up, I addressed him with respect. I said, Anton, could I just give you my understanding of how this all applies? I started laying it out. He started acting like a little hoe and asking questions to get to a certain answer and then talking over me and saying, nobody wants to live like you out on the land. You're in a truck right now in a tent and blah, blah. I said, Anton, get away from that. I understand how that looks, right? It's about what I'm getting to, and it's about what the fuck I'm walking away from. Okay. He didn't want to hear it. And then he went to shitting on me, talking down on me, saying I was poor and broke. I couldn't get no pussy, and then started showing money and threw me out to try to punk on me. It don't work like that. Okay. Not where I come from and what the fuck I know. And when you're reduced back down to nothing and you got nothing to point to, they're going to say, who are you and what are you about? Yeah, you ain't shit. And they're going to treat you like a slave. I don't care if it's in a fucking box or at court. One group's going to do it or another. Either you keep to yourself and be respectful and do your fucking time. You want to pop shit, you're going to get shown you're not a fucking man. So don't act like that, right? Don't play that position on a metaverse.
I just noticed Lou is here.
Greetings, Lewis Creature.
And Brian.
Hi, kids. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Unfortunately.
No despair, your volume's real low, man.
Is it?
My volume's low. Hold on.
No, not yours. Yours is way too loud, Lou.
Oh.
Yeah, that dude just run a script, man. That's all he's doing. He's just trying to divide, man. Divide everybody. That's what I see from him.
Well, that's cool. Every time I get a chance with whatever the fuck I have, I'm going to use it to go after motherfuckers like this. And it's he says, we all got ego. Okay, I'll accept the premise. I got ego. It's super ego. I'm going to work for God's law and God's purpose as much as I perceive it. And I'm going to do my own remix on that, right? Because I have my way of presenting that a certain way. That's my personality. I can't get away from that, really. But I you know. Yeah. So again, I have no hate for him. I don't need to replace him. I don't need to destroy him. I don't need none of that. I came on there to build with him. He wants to play games. When I go back in the chat and call him out, he wants to address me again and say he's gonna make me famous and do whatever and something. Go ahead. Let's get to it. I love it. I love the action, right? I don't even have to win. I just love the action. That's what makes me like that. What you all say crazy, right? I do shit just on the strength of it because it's true and right to me, and I love the action. I don't even give a fuck how it turns out.
Hey, you guys hear about that guy, Curtis Stone? He lives in Canada, and he's supposed to go to a conference. He was to speak at a conference in Texas, but they wouldn't allow him in the United States because the people of the conference paid for his hotel and plane fare, and they considered that restitution. He's completely legal otherwise. And he's bringing up the point that all these migrants are coming in all over the fucking place, just getting in, and he's completely legal. And he can't get in the country. They denied him entry.
So we're gonna do this now, like the whole migrant versus citizen slave. They're all a bunch of slaves, one way or the other. But the slave that's already like legal, as you know, it's already like they're gonna hoe that one out. You know what I mean? Like we don't care about you. We got these new hoes that are coming in that we got to kind of mac on and get them ready to put out on the track. So, yeah, like they're always going to treat you or Jack Talcott, you know, like a deadbeat, hoed out slave because you've been on the clock for a long time, right? They got new hoes and new slaves coming in who they got to be there for, right? So they got to prep them and primp them and get them ready. Yeah. You already know the game. You've been down for a while, so you don't get that much attention and care.
It's just nuts. It's nuts.
Hey, this thought just came into my head. Maybe you've thought of this before, but
hey, hold on real quick, Talcott. Hold that thought for a second. I'm sorry, John. Are you still riding around without plates and being a fucking crazy white man out there?
Yeah, I took my longest trip this morning. I had to go to the I took a drive to the reservation, then passed a couple cops on the way, and they never noticed anything. So everything's still cool.
Bro, they're so fucked when it's not white gorillas like me doing this shit. They love when they come up on someone like me or the goblin creature smelling like reefer and he got dreadlocks and I, you know, whatever. But they're so fucked when like Jennifer starts doing this, when John starts doing it, when Talcott, because they go, these are normal, well-to-do, everyday white people. What's happened here? Where did we go wrong, right?
There's only one reason for me to be doing what I'm doing, because it's the right thing to do.
Right. And when you start having regular, successful, well-to-do, middle-class white people coming into court who got no record, they're so fucked. It's going to fuck their whole public relations bullshit campaign that everyone knows about anyway, and it's going to fuck the books and the records up. They can't have it. So I'm saying it's already happening. The more people who are regular, normal, no criminal records start standing our rights and freedom, they're going to have to deal with everyone differently. They're not going to put John and Talcott and Jennifer in a fucking cell with a bunch of gangbangers and lowlifes and druggies. They're not going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't.
I agree. And that's exactly the truth. I mean, John and I don't know all of John's story. I know mine. I was part of the system. You know, I've shared that. So for people who have been part of the system and they've built themselves foundations and security within the system, when those people start standing up, that's when the oppressed, right? Because let's face it, when people get together in the ghetto, nobody's paying attention, right? It's not happening. And the ghetto is, well, the working class. It's pretty much everybody who's not wealthy enough to purchase themselves above the law. So that was the thought I had. We're so fucking confused. People don't have rights. Everything that's written, all this stuff that people are believing in and trying to protect, those are protections, right? Why do we need protections? Because people are fucking attacking each other. Because the governments have been attacking the people, the corporations attacking each other, the banks, whatever. Humans have been attacking common sense. That's the shit.
Land of the Blighted down there says they'll do it. They don't give a fuck. Maybe to some people short term. I'm telling you what I believe. I can't prove it. And I've already, I believe, seen some of it in action. They're not going to deal with certain folks. They just, it can't happen like that. It's almost a violation of the law of this thing as I see it, right? They have to get you on the high ground. They have to try to keep the high ground at court, even if it's with pimping and macking. Once you know who and what you are and what you're not, and say, sorry, ladies, and you come in with that passive aggressive white people shit, it's over. When you come in there, hey, I love everyone. I'm just here to explore rights and freedoms. What say you? I got some questions, everyone. And you start asking the right questions, it's over, because they can't get you in contemptuous behavior. They can't get you for not understanding and willfully ignoring the law or their codes, because you're just saying, I'm exploring God-given rights and freedom and spiritual faith, and I just got some questions. You know, I took some mushrooms out one day when I was walking. I don't know, they were just there. I took them and something happened, right? So could you just explain some stuff to me, how this all works? And if you just hold that line, they're going to go, get this person out of here. This is nonsense. I don't know what's going on. Get him out of here, because we can't try this person because they won't cop to believe in what we believe, and they won't get contemptuous, and they don't have a record. And we can't put it on the books like this is just another person like Paulie Boy and the rest who have a history of being rebels without a cause. These are people who've done it the right way all their life. They see it doesn't work, and now they're out. And you can't force them to believe.
Yeah, you can't go in there telling them
But a supervisor.
He almost arrested you. You can't be almost pregnant. Right? So that's my point. They've arrested me over and over again without a fucking conversation. They just go and put hands on me just because of the way I look and what I'm wearing alone. Right? So again, they almost arrest you, but they're going to call the supervisor and they're going to have a discussion. Right. But they're usually going to have a discussion with reasonable, logical people who present in a way that looks like one of their family members. Right.
Hey, honestly, that's why for a long time I was trying to get into courts, trying to get facts put into the record, the public record. But I'd still like to talk to You know, if there's some creative attorneys out there who know how to, you know, just file the paperwork easily, and there's so many ways we could be challenging and attacking, but I don't have the desire to learn mechanisms of bringing the suit.
And I don't blame you. And this is why I say your brand is live without fear. I didn't say anything to anybody from day one. They come to me from day one when I was on Zoom. Before anything, let's do Zoom courses, right? I go, the number one thing here is going past your fear. But how do you do this? And how do you do that? And how do I make sure I don't? You're not listening. You're in a fear space now because you're asking me about a bunch of hypotheticals because you feel you can't stand on God-given rights and freedoms and faith past your fear. Stop asking me for 46 fucking documents to stand as a fucking honorable man. It's not that difficult. You just have to, it's the most simple, most difficult thing you could do. Because everyone has common sense. You get back in touch with that, then you have to move forward with it. I'm going to travel and do what I want. At best, I'll get some kind of bonded process where if I cause an accident, there's compensation. We have no more discussion. Don't give me the hypothetical bullshit about safety. It's covered now. That should be at best your worry, and even that doesn't come into play. It's still hypothetical pre-crime. Don't tell me about an accident that hasn't happened yet. Okay? Some people go their whole life without ever causing or having an accident. So we're not going to presume
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Right, and usually if you're careful, it's a fucking fender bender or something that costs a few hundred or whatever, and you move on with your fucking life. My father's been all up and down. He drove for a living all of his life in a certain aspect of his work and has never really had any problem.
And you know, when
asshole on the roadway.
When I first started driving, we didn't need insurance. That came in probably 4 or 5 years afterwards.
Hello? Right. Everything comes in a few years afterwards. Like horse and buggy came about and everyone just moved around. They said, we got to make money and get some slaves here.
But did the sheriff pull up alongside the horse and buggy and say, can I see your license, registration, and insurance?
Of course not. They had to create policy enforcement for that. They had to create policy enforcement for that. Because no man of the town who's a peacekeeper is going to sign on to that bullshit. You mean to tell me I went from sitting in this office all day practicing shooting my revolver and dealing with a couple drunks to I'm going to ride around and police the good people of this town and force policy on them? No good man's going to take on that undertaking. Only a chimpanzee who's trained like an animal would do that.
Common sense, dude.
Right. So I wouldn't do it. If I've talked about it, I see, I'll never do it. I have so many ideas and so little ambition. I'm like Talcott. There's a part of me, I'd love to go take these tests, get in shape and pass it and go be policy enforcement and just ride around and talk to people and not enforce any policy. Right. And then they'll say, well, I'll say officer discretion. Oh, we have to fire you now because you didn't, whatever. Right. I'll just let it ride. But I'll do 3 to 5 years of riding around, making a difference and not playing like these people. Why anyone wouldn't do that? You all don't care about your job anyway. I see how you all work. You don't give a fuck, really, about anything. You're just scared that something's going to happen to you. I've seen the look in these people's eye, and I've had them tell me, we really don't want to do this right now, but we're all on camera or we're worried someone's listening or going to ride up and ask. So we're not going to put our job on the line. You know, that's a pathetic way to live. If you're not going to give a fuck about the job and what you're really doing there, then just fucking milk it all the way and maybe make a difference on the other end. Ride around, talk to the black kids, make relationships, be a father who's not in the home, and stop forcing policy on everybody who doesn't even fucking know any better. You don't even know any better. You don't even know what law is. You want to fuck with these young black children in the inner city, putting them in prison for 20 years for bullshit drugs that they're all trading for value and all want to do anyway. Right? I was one of them doing the drugs, moving them around. It's consensual. I didn't blame anybody for me fucking using drugs and being an addict. That was my choice. I didn't blame my mama not being there and use the system and victimize. Right? If I was going to use the system, I'd be thankful and grateful. They gave me a fucking rehab that saved my life or was a path to start saving my life. I'm thankful and grateful for that. I wasn't owed that. I'm not entitled to that. These people that's the thing, man. That's the pandemic. The epidemic is a lack of common sense. These people don't know how to think anymore for themselves. in a productive way.
Brainwashed.
One of the funniest things is all these people that complain about paying taxes and their taxes aren't being used properly, and yet they don't realize that 98% of the income tax is paid voluntarily because income tax is voluntary, and the fact that taxes are duly paid by stamp, and everybody's paying them by everything but a stamp. That's the idiocy of the whole thing. They want to sit there and complain about paying taxes. They don't know the first thing about taxes. And it's all voluntary. They volunteer as if they know, and they don't. It's like Anton claiming he knows all white people. Right.
Anton the slave. All right, Jennifer, I'll see you later. So I respect that point. Selling shit either all these other dudes are pushing expensive. Oh yeah. You know, and I've been called a grifter many times, right? But I didn't come into this for that. I didn't believe that I could make a living doing this voluntarily. I had an intuition that I could, so I went with that. And I've talked about it a bunch of times. My father questioned it, saying, "You got to sell products. You got to do this. You got to." I said, "I'm not doing that. That's what everyone else does." And then right away, like all my life, he throws his hands up in the air and goes, "I can't believe this motherfucker's going to throw away a golden ticket." I go, "No, that's a golden parachute to me, right? It's not worth anything. You throw me out of a plane with a golden parachute, I'm going to fall faster than I would without it." So inside of myself, I don't need that, right? If I'm going to get to something, I'm going to do it the right way. It's voluntary contributions, donation based. I don't even pass the fucking basket around the room like the church does. And I don't get in bed with corporate government for benefits and privileges like the slave church does. So that is ministry. Okay, so that's the whole point. You can't come forth as a speaker or preacher or whatever the fuck you want to consider me, an honorable man. You can't come forth and do that. You destroy your credibility outright. That's why I say I'm not built like these people. I've sat next to them. I've talked with them. We focused on certain things. I go my own way because I'm not going to hawk a bunch of products on this broadcast. I'm not going to do it. They'll do it all day, every day to get to a few extra bucks. That shows who and what they are and what they're motivated by. So, yeah, thank you, Lewis, showing us the lizard creature. We're going to name that Lauren.
Don't do that, Lou.
Lauren the lizard.
Did you use like tax, clear tax? Why couldn't you? No, clear tax they put down the wood.
What is that now? Who's mumbling and rambling in the background? Bizarre.
Yes, bizarre. And I'm going to go lay down for a nap, guys.
Take care, Keith.
Preacher.
Good to see you, man. Hey, Brian, I see you go over to Jen's and Shapu's channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, man. I see you're a lot calmer in that chat over there, too.
You should have saw me on my call in the Karen B show today talking about Jen and Shapu.
Is Karen B still on their case?
Well, apparently, based on my interaction with her today.
Yeah, I haven't paid attention to that lately. Yeah, I stopped following Karen B a long time ago.
Paul has no clue what we're talking about. So
yeah, I know. That's okay. It's okay for him to be in the dark once in a while.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Wobbly Boost is talking about how the truther industry works, right? Constantly fucking begging for shit because they can't manage their own life and affairs, constantly in debt, right? And it's like, hey, I love when donations and contributions are coming in, but I try to not ever really ask directly because I like to be in a position where I have everything I need and then some, which means I got to either live within my means or come up with a way to get that without being codependent. So, you know, I do that for me. I don't want to come on here and present like that. Like, I was disgusted. I used to have respect for Passio. I seen him just last week. Whatever it was. My time frame is horrible. Too much reefer. Couple months ago at this point. Feels like last week because time flies when you're having fun, I guess. I pulled it up here. He was yelling and screaming This is a guy who's supposed to be the pinnacle of the truth or anarchy community. Has a whole network. He's getting out here and scream at everybody. You motherfuckers don't do shit. I need computers. You should send money. Then the money rolls in and he goes and buys 3 more $5,000 computers each. You don't need no fucking $5,000 computer, 3 of them. Fuck you. You're an asshole. How about that? Right? Oh, I'm going to sell you terabyte drives for hundreds of. Fuck you. You're an asshole. How about that? The information's all out there. I didn't need your goofy ass terabyte drive to know how to be an honorable man. You couldn't teach me how to be an honorable man from what I see. How about that? Let's ask a bunch of questions to everybody out there, all the truth or anarchist folks, right? Have I ever come on here and screamed at everybody, fuck you, fuck my supporters, you ain't shit, you don't do nothing. If I do that, I walk right the fuck away after. I don't ask for nothing. I say you're a bunch of fucking slaves because I was that, and I'm stepping out of that or have stepped out of that. I encourage everyone to do the same for you. So I call you that because I see you as that because I don't want to see you as that. That's a good thing. That's a motivating thing. I don't come on here and say, fuck you, you ain't shit. Now give me something or else. It's pathetic, right? Then turn around and say, you got a mortgage to pay. Who the fuck told you to go get a mortgage, fuckface? Why couldn't you take that 15 grand and go buy a fucking trailer like some other people did, right? You could have bought the trailer for 10, put 5 in solar and whatever else into it, and now you're good to go. Do your goofy ass broadcast more than 2 hours twice a month. Give the people what the fuck they want and need and stop cycling the same old bullshit. Ads for your fucking courses. Come take a 30-week course to find out how to be an anarchist. Suck my dick. Right? Just more bullshit. Just a bunch of truther industry, fanarchist slaves like Larkin Rose and the rest who push music albums, push courses, push bullshit websites and the rest of it and are constantly begging for money and can never manage what the fuck they got. You give them $1 million fucking dollars, they'll mismanage it within 3 to 5 years and be back screaming and begging because they got a whole bunch of goofy bitches in their life they're tricking and simping with half the time because they got a bunch of children running around they can't take care of that they got to pay off half the fucking time because they got a drug and alcohol habit they can't keep up half the fucking time. Let's get right down to it because they got a bunch of fucking comfortable habits and things that they need and can't do without. They think half the fucking time. Got to ride around an XYZ kind of car to feel like somebody. Bunch of broke ass hoes. Spiritually first. Thoughts expert panel. And then we're going to go to the slave news.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, man. That interaction or how you're breaking it down. I mean, I got to work on being more critical towards it. All I do is like, great job. All right, you said it all. But no, man, I thought that was cool. That dude's got how many millions of followers or whatever it is? Right. I'm saying I like how you handle this.
People are fucking, it's the blind leading the blind, man. You go directly at them one time, one interaction with me, their fucking career's done. Not because I'm so important, not because I have so many viewers, because I fucking tell the truth and ask the right questions. What the fuck are you doing day to day? What are you going to do when policy enforcement comes to you? How you can get your property back? Right? I've dealt with all of it. I have a certain process. It doesn't work all the time, but I do it. You don't, because you have no cases on file. A motherfucker who's an anarchist or about rights, freedom, and principles has cases on file. If you don't, you're a fucking slave. How about that? You're a good little slave in their eyes. Since when, the beginning of time, man of God walked side by side with a corrupt society and not be put on trial? Are you fucking kidding?
We live many different paths, brother.
What's up with that wrench I see down there in chat that I have?
You're the only moderator now. You're the only moderator.
How'd you come to that decision?
Because I need somebody who I can trust, regardless of interactions, and I need you to rape and I need you to block slaves and rape them. Right? That's your function. You're my gimp creature, O'Shea beast. So,
metaversally, right?
Right, metaversally, of course. So, like, I'll give the word to you from time to time when you're here, and I'm going to say, O'Shea, please drag that person off and sexually torture them for 5 minutes, and then you block them, and you have your way with them. You turn your camera off, whatever you have to do.
YOLO got it. There was a silent G. Grape them.
Grape juice.
Right.
Hello, Brother Jack.
Right, just try to wait for me to give you the word, O'Shea creature. But if you see anything really crazy, you can even let me know sometimes. Like, hey, I see some miscreant beast down here, some slave who's a little bit mouthy and needs to be dealt with, right? And either I'll deal with him or I'll give you the word, go ahead and do what you do best, and really just kind of put the screws to him.
Right. And then I asked the chat to help me too, like put in there, O'Shea, we need it over here, in case I'm like eating a burrito. I can't see everything. But yeah.
That wrench isn't even for like working around a workshop. That wrench is for sexual torture. So I just want to be clear, right? That's why he has that, and he's the only one.
Yeah. I feel like that's my calling.
Hello.
Oh, that's Dan. Dan almost killed himself. So I think that's Dan Cummings. He sent me a text.
Poor Dan.
Said he almost died. He was in the hospital. A bunch of tubes in him and shit.
So Dan, you're killing yourself again? What's going on, man?
Apparently, I had some kind of overcome. I was overcome with some bad decisions. I guess that I guess I'm out of my program now. I'm back in my program now. Tuning in, tuning out. Got some energy. Back without a doubt. Hopefully this is it. Because I do give a shit. That's my little spit.
Right, but you realize that you control what you do. So did you go and use the same shit or what? What's the deal?
I don't really want to elaborate on.
Just get down to it, Dan. You fucking relapsed, and I know that ain't gonna mean weed and alcohol.
Yep, I relapsed.
Okay, so again, did we not talk about you having the propensity to go back to these same cycles, and that if you're going to, you said, oh, I'm going to get some weed this way. If it gets bad, I'll just use that because I notice it makes me mellow and kind of takes the edge off. And, So I know I'm not like every other quote unquote drug counselor because I'm not one. And I'm going to sit here and tell you to sublimate addictions.
The girl at 7-Eleven told me that weed is not a drug today.
Right. I understand. It doesn't matter. The point is you have a habit of mismanaging whatever you have and mismanaging your life with it. So it's a you thing. But with that said, it probably wouldn't be a problem as much, wouldn't be as much of a mismanagement at all for whatever the shit you keep going back to is. That's like your DOC, as they say. That's going to kill you. So the other shit, if you go to some reefer, it's not going to kill you, at least short term. Long term, it might affect your lungs and your breathing if you're smoking it. But at least we could get some time in between where you're not like ending up in the hospital, tattooing your face, going to jail, the usual shit.
Yeah, I haven't been to jail. Doing good on that end. I'm trying to continue with getting to a the whole thing goes back to what happened where I was charged with domestic violence. The whole world was turned upside down, and I'm not at home.
Dan, it's done and over with, Dan. I told you months ago to get the fuck away from that goofy bitch, and you didn't listen because you like to trust your thoughts and your feelings.
Well, you told her to get away from me too.
Sorry, you're the man. I know that that's a hard concept for you to conceive of because no one told you that or gave you that role. I'm giving you that role. You have to be a man for yourself.
I'm not that
strong.
Don't
tell me about what I told the goofy bitch who you're fucking. I ain't fucking her.
Hey,
you are.
I'm not that strong of a man.
No, you are. Because I see what the fuck you keep putting yourself through, and it's more than most people, and you keep getting through it one way or the other. So you happen to be a very strong motherfucker. You just like to choose your own suffering.
I have a weak vessel.
No, you're just impulsive and compulsive and haven't learned self-control and self-discipline. And you won't choose to either because you won't take my suggestions.
I don't think I have enough of time with you guys on the program to really have it helped me as much as I need the help I need. I need a lot of help.
No. You don't need help. You need to start helping yourself. You need to become your own best ally and your own best friend rather than your own worst enemy. So it's easier to not go get the dope that's going to kill you and turn your life upside down again than it is to go get it. You got to get the money. You got to find somebody. You got to drive to get it. You could probably go down the street and get a bag of reefer if you had to get something and go back to your house, smoke something, and then have ice cream and go to bed. But
Yes.
you, I guess, still want the action, right?
No, it's the environment that I'm living at right now, and I'm not really in a place where it's like a place. I guess I got this coping problem with things that have happened and people that say shit like Brian over here who likes to not fucking talk to me, but likes to say things when he says them.
Dude, didn't I tell you that Brian has his own life like we all do? I told you that I care about you. You may not feel it or believe it, but I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. Am I looking for you? Am I going to look for you, or are you coming here? I don't mind it. I like having you here. The point is I got my life, you got yours, he's got his. Doesn't mean we don't think about each other from time to time, but just because someone ain't looking for you don't mean they don't care about you. And you shouldn't be needy of that.
Hey, you're right. But the way I see it is, things that bother you, you have to live with that. You don't want to be a loser, And
you're being selfish, Dan. This is one of this is one of the qualities of this lifestyle you're living is you're being selfish in a negative way. There's a positive form of kind of being selfish, like centered in self, where you prioritize your growth, your development, your sobriety. You're being selfish where he's got his own walk, dude. He's an ex-druggie. He's considered an addict. Like, you don't leave him space to live his life and try to figure his life out, get a stable job and career, pursue his comedy, and not be a loser failure all of his fucking life like the rest of us have always been. Why the fuck can't you give space for him to do what you won't do for yourself if he's choosing to do that? Why won't you work with him to get to a space where you do that with him instead of worrying about why he's not there with you, fucking his life up more?
Because it's really bothering me the shit that he said to me about my nephew, that I killed my nephew, and that shit sticks with me. Now I get that, Dan. That fucking friendship with him, but he really did say some shit.
So did you mean that, Brian? And be honest about it.
And then
the only thing is, I mean, if you want to get in the details, if I heard of it where the kid was being pushed, like, come on, you don't want to be like your father. They're hot, they're hiking. He's like, come on, he's pushing the kid. And
That
you know
doesn't
what I mean?
mean that he caused him to kill himself, Brian. You can't make a statement like that to somebody and you not put yourself in that position. Just because he's using tough love on him or trying to
the only
push
person
him in
that said anything like that shit, Brian, came from you, and I kind of tried to take it on the chin, bro. But I ain't strong enough, bro. I ain't able to overcome shit.
Yeah, but you can't. That's your own thing too, because anybody could say anything, and unless you believe it, it doesn't affect you. So you must have believed that already, somewhere in you, that you either could have done more or didn't do enough, or you weren't the man you needed to be to set the right example. All that may be true. It doesn't matter. You didn't have anything directly to do with that. This is a long line of systemic failures inside of each self, and it causes people to become weak in certain moments and harm themselves in others. So it's one pattern over and over again, right down the line.
I was walking down the street the other day, and a guy had a shirt on that said, "If you live in the past, you're a loser." And I was like, well, that's kind of fucking harsh, ain't it? Like, some people can't overcome some tragedies that, transpired.
Dan, when you're in the middle of going to get fucking dope and using it, you ain't thinking about them tragedies. If you took the same amount of time, energy, and attention, to focus on something in your life and fill your days with that, you wouldn't be having time to sit around and think about what the fuck happened already. You'd be doing something different, and you'd put time in between, and you'd start feeling different, and you'd be living more and more different as time goes on. So because you want to sit around all day, not work a program, not work at some fucking job or career, not apply yourself completely or dedicate yourself to anything, you have a lot of time to fucking brood over what the fuck you haven't done or done wrong. And there's probably a lot of shit to look at, but none of that's going to change it.
Freeze, fight, or flight. it's part of the.
It's part of your bullshit excuse system, right? I had one too. It doesn't work for you or anyone else, and I'm gonna let it fly.
It's just a natural part of trauma.
No. You know yourself by now enough to know that if you don't get your ass in gear, you're gonna destroy yourself. Idle hands are the devil's workshop. You have never heard that? You see Chubby Lewis out there, 60 years old, hoeing the field? Because if he wasn't out there hoeing the field, he'd be out in the field with hoes. You get what I'm saying?
I've been doing that my whole life, you know, and I got to a good place and everything fell apart, man. I shouldn't have took on responsibilities that, I mean, I wasn't probably
right. It's not responsibilities. You took on other people, places, and things that are not good for you.
No, I took on a child and a responsibility, and then people.
Where'd that child come from?
Child came from God.
Where'd that child come from? Is that a biological child of yours?
My brother's son, man. My brother died right before that.
So you have enough taking care of yourself. You have no business taking on people, places, and things when you have enough time trying to be there for yourself and do for yourself. I appreciate your enthusiasm, that you probably have a good heart and wanted to work with that child or want to work with children in general. Well, get yourself to a place where you could do that. But you can't sacrifice your sobriety and your future trying to have a good heart and doing for others when it's hard enough doing for yourself. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. You need time.
Yeah, it's been almost 4 years coming up on July here. I read that shirt the other day and I realized that I am being a loser living in the past and not being able to overcome what would happen and to carry on, you know, and it really did. It was almost like that guy would walk with that shirt was supposed to be there. That I was supposed to see that walking down the block. It was like part of the divine intervention of
probably part of the program in some way, a synchronicity. The point is, it's not about having necessarily. I don't like to live with regrets because your past is what gets you here. You can't regret it. It's why we're here now having a conversation that might change your life even a little bit. Right. No, I lost the thought there. So what I'm getting down to here with you is that the loser idea about it is that you don't take all this fucked up bad shit and turn it into a winning story where you say, I really feel bad about a lot of shit. I didn't do enough. So now I'm going to do better than ever and do more than ever and become better than ever and show more than ever. Right. Create more than ever. That's the loser story. We all have shit that we would have rather have done better or fucked up shit that's happened that makes us, if we get into it, not want to be here. Right.
I got a special condition, man. You know, it's like I freak out about shit. Like I said, it's freeze.
Dan, I'm not going to let you do it, bro, because I am you and I was you. And let's not get into it. You know, I had a special condition too. Right. Anxiety, depression, ADHD, suicidal thoughts, intrusive thoughts, all the rest.
I have, dude.
Okay, so stop fucking playing this ego game with me where you're special. Don't tell me the child came from God as if we ain't children of God and ain't oneself. I know the deal already, and I'm not going to let you get away with nonsense for yourself. I had a whole list of special conditions. It's what makes me a special broadcaster nowadays. Okay? So write a winner hero story for yourself, not a loser story. And it starts with stop victiming and using words to disempower yourself.
Yeah, man, you're on where I'm getting to. Eventually, I want to be. I just haven't figured it out. My journey is still going.
You don't need to figure it out. I'm giving you the action steps. This is nothing new. We're not special and unique. Someone figured it out before me, and then I took some cues and I did my own sort of way with it. So it's going to be a certain set of ideas and principles that you're going to have to stick to, regardless of what you're thinking and feeling, for your own good. As time goes by, as you focus on one moment, one day at a time, as time goes by, you'll notice changes happening, but you'll have to keep the faith. This is where the faith comes in, because there'll be days where you say, I don't see where this is all going. There's no way out. I just want to go back. No, I can't go get the dope. Even if I have to go eat a big steak or do some other debauchery to keep myself from going back to that, because that thing's going to kill me quick. I got to put some time and space between that, right? So I prefer it be, let me go learn something. Let me go ride a fucking horse. Let me go spend dope money jumping out of a plane. Do something to fucking get the action and push past that fear and fuck with your brain chemistry in a way that if it's going to kill you, you're not going out like a loser dope fiend. He'll say, hey, Dan was jumping out of a fucking plane yesterday facing his fears. Motherfucker's parachute didn't open. Oh, well.
Yeah, there was I don't know, just a lot, you know, of pain, you know. So you got some people to make their makeup ain't, they ain't strong enough. That's all. But I'm trying. I'm trying to come on the show. I'm trying to talk to people about my problems. I'm going to got kicked out of the program. No, I got to go to another program.
Dan, if you write a story where some people, meaning you, or just have a certain makeup, you now created a box for yourself. You can't leave it. You can't talk. I'm telling you, it may be even true, and you have to leave it open. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. At best. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. You can't write a story where you're a certain kind of person who can never get better, because then you're a certain kind of person who can never get better.
Yeah, I shouldn't be in Chicago anymore. I probably should.
We had this discussion, Dan.
I know it's easier said than
done. The
done.
spirit told you to get the fuck out of there and go out into nature. You told me that. So you don't even listen to God when it talks to you. How the fuck can I work with you when God can't work with you?
That was kind of a depression talking, dude. You know, and
that what the depression was talking when it told you to get out in the nature and get away from your toxic fucking people places.
You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to go get a fucking tent and be homeless and live in San Francisco and just say fuck it. You know?
No, that wasn't what you discussed with me that day. That's not what I heard from you.
That's how I felt. It is what I was going to do.
Yeah, but that may have been how you felt, but that's not what you communicated to me as a better idea for you. You talked about going to get something and being out in nature and being away from the people, places, and things. Not giving up and going to live in a tent in an inner city slum. There's a difference between getting a tent or a trailer and going out to nature and getting back to yourself and getting away for a time to reset and refocus versus giving up and going into a den of iniquity.
Well, I try to put back to square one. Try to put myself back together again. What was that? Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. How'd it go? Humpty Dumpty sat on a
wall.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Right. Humpty has to put himself back together again.
Do the hump. Or Humpty Dumpty.
Can I jump in here, please?
Sure, Jack.
Because, Danny, what if just what you said, you saw that sign, that message on the shirt about the past, you recognize something in it. Paul has offered you the path and the solutions from what I've seen, but maybe it wasn't time. Okay, so if you're fed up, if you're done this cycle of going in and out of patterns, brother, what if what Paul said is right? That you were given the past that you did so that you could become an example of change for others. So can you picture yourself in the future with a goal, helping others overcome whatever crap it is that you did and you will be overcoming?
I could almost dream of a day that I could be inspirational to other people that had, there's tragic things that happen to people all the time. Cars get in accidents and families gets wiped out, and I try to put things in perspective.
Dan, I already told you that you are that, whether you perceive that about yourself or not. I've seen that from you. I told you to come here every day if you got nothing to do and be part of this broadcast. And that I would bet that you'll see changes in yourself and that you'll feel different and you'll feel like you have a value in a role and you will be inspiring to others if you let it be. You get out of your own head and out of the past and out of your ego bullshit, because you're going to sit there and go, well, I smoke crack and I have this kind of house and I'm from this neighborhood with these bozos. You get the fuck away from all that and say, I'm a man first. I'm a child of God. Right? I know I can be better and do better. I just don't know necessarily how completely yet, but I'm on the way. That's inspiring, because there's a lot of folks out there who are where you're at, wherever that is, and they're in various stages, right, of coming out of it, going back into it. So you can be a source of inspiration just by showing up for yourselves and others and speaking your truth and coming to an understanding of the truth objectively for all of us. So again, I gave you a suggestion. I offered you a place here. I said, if you have nothing else to do, especially if you're going to go do that shit, come here, see how you feel after you leave. See if there's not a difference. See if you don't leave here with a different attitude. I don't think you'd be coming back here if when you left here, you felt worse than when you started.
You know what I want to do today here? It's 83 degrees out here in Chicago, and I started my day off, and I had a good start to my morning. I want to finish the day off with planting some vegetables and making a garden, you know, and starting to, because I still got to buy myself some time while I'm here in this basement, dwelling on this court case and getting back into my condominium. Maybe I don't want to be back in I just want my shit out of there and I could sell it and then go, you know. But I think
you can't leave now because you have court cases, right?
Well, I stopped at the courthouse. I talked to a public defender this morning. I said, listen, I got problems, you know, I don't want to end up in a worse place than I'm at right now with this. But I did reach out to the public defender and tell her there's a program I could go away for a little while, and they won't let me go unless a judge gives me the green light, gives me, you know, because I got this ankle monitor on. So and then I talked to them, and I talked to the pretrial service lady and told her, you know, she knows I'm dipping out, and you know, I got a curfew and I'm out at like 2 a.m. I just like to go for a walk in the middle of the night, you know, and it's, you know, I'm not supposed to be doing that shit. And the judge is going to see I'm doing that shit. So she's going to fucking not go my way on this whole domestic. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm going through it. So they want to see you're in a, you know, trying to help yourself.
Have you ever done jail time?
Yeah, some small bids, but nothing.
Like
serious.
how much?
Oh, a couple months here and there. Cook County Jail. I bonded eventually.
So
no penitentiary time or nothing.
Yeah, you need to get away from this. Like, this is about you and putting distance and time between the habits, the people, places, and things. Your biggest worry can't be about going to get some bullshit and sell it for whatever you're going to get for it. Whatever it is, I'm sure is not that important.
Yeah, right? You're right.
So like, your life is important. How you're going to live it's important. Focus on that moment to moment, day to day, with what you have in front of you. Right. So that's part of living in the past. I got a court case. Yeah, that already happened. It's ongoing. It's already created. It's happening. It's ongoing. Just surrender it. Right. Oh, I want to go to the condos already happened and whatever. It's the shit's there. Leave it there. Your best bet would be to call one of these bozo friends I'm sure you have who really won't show up for you and ask them to go clear the fucking place out, sell it for you, take a piece, give you the rest, or bring it there. Pick someone, a family member, someone you can trust, get the shit out of there and have it moved. If you really wanted the shit moved, you'd get it moved. If there was dope in that fucking house and you wanted to get high, you'd get to it, get it out of there, and it'd be over there. So, like, there's too many excuses for too many things to keep you in the same place with the same people and things. So it's like, surrender it all, let it go. If there's a way with trust to get the shit and get it packed up and stored, get it done. Get someone over there, get the shit out of there, get it stored, get it done, sell the place, start working on it one piece at a time, right? If you have to go away somewhere, go take some time away.
That's what I'm trying to.
Every time that you do the relapse game, You need time away again. So don't tell me, oh, I went to treatment centers before, it didn't work. Maybe it didn't, right? We don't know if it's going to work again because it's about you working it and about you changing your life and habits. And it's difficult when you get into ruts and certain habits and you're used to certain things. So it's going to be a test, right? But yeah, I'd recommend taking that time again away from the people, places, and things. If you have that opportunity, get the administrator person to sign off on that, you know, and really, you know, I know I went for like 28 days. No, what was it? I don't know what it was, a month or two, but realistically, there's different cases, right? With different beings, like you say. It just may mean because you've done it for longer and certain things harder, you may need more time. So it's going to be scary to you, but you may say to them, listen, I got to tell on myself here. They teach you that in NA. I can't trust myself and my thoughts and my feelings. I need to go for 6 months or more. Don't give me this 28-day shit back out on the street because you might benefit long-term the rest of your life from going to be somewhere for 6 months or a year and living at a fucking program and having a structure, right? Because that's what you don't do well with, but you need it. Like I would suggest that's what it is. Like me, I hate structure, but I know I need it at this point some way. So I either create that or I allow that to come forth if it comes forth. So you could probably benefit from going to a place and letting them tell you how to live, not out of ego, right? Like you have your own personal choice and freedom, but you can't trust your thoughts and emotions right now. So let them tell you how to live. I don't normally tell anyone to do that. I'd say that's being a slave. In your case, that might be a path to freedom for now. If you get people who you can trust because of what they've been through, like myself, how they've come out of it over years and stayed out of it and created a new life for themselves. If they were with you every day and said, no, Dan, just do this. Just choose this thought. See if it creates this feeling. Go do this activity. Have this group session. If you did that for long enough, by the time you get out of there, you've set new habits and trends. You have a new way of communicating, and you have a new set of thoughts, emotions, and actions, right? So take advantage of that if it's offered, you know, and use the time to really work on your inner space and give yourself over to the process. Surrender to something beyond yourself and higher than yourself spiritually, right? You don't have to fight. There's no fight here. You have to surrender. Say there are people and there's a process that know better or at least can do better. You may know it but can't do it. They know it and can do it. And they can help you be that and do that. So surrender to that process. There's no shame in that. They will work with you and help you. If they don't, you'll know it and you'll say, I need somebody else. Because we're pretty intuitive people. That's what I find. So we're going to know who the jerk off asshole is who's just about like some bullshit system versus someone who really cares and has walked it and can work with you and help you. So I would just, you know, you got to put the ego aside. Where we come from, we don't want a sponsor. We don't want this. We don't want that. It ain't us. We're different. No, right? There's nobody special and different. Take advantage of those support aspects and tools. Have somebody you can talk with if it's me or someone else, right? Use that. Work with that. Accept help. Take suggestions. Put yourself in new places with new people doing different things and see if you start to feel different as time goes by. And have faith as the time is going by. It's a long game, which is scary to us, right? But that's the reality of life, unless you want to put yourself in the ground earlier than you have to be.
Well, I almost did that, you know, and it was really close. I was almost in a coma. I fucking don't want to say this, but it was almost like poetic justice some way. I don't know how to explain it. It was like, it's what I've been asking for, so be it, you know, if that's what happens. That's depression, man. You don't even realize what you're doing to yourself. You know? Yep. So I got the garden idea. I'm going to try to get some happiness out of planting some vegetables and stuff and see if I can get some tilling tools to till the soil and get some go to the store and buy some. I'm gonna plant some stuff, and then when I leave here and come back, there better be a bunch of tomatoes or some cucumbers and shit. I'm leaving my dog here too. If I can, put that all into my judge lets me go, but we'll see how it all goes. And next court date's June 2nd, but I'm trying to accelerate some things. I got some stuff. I made an attempt today. And then what I didn't do last time is go to like a sober living home, which you got to pay, I think, a couple $100 a week. But I think that I might ride that out this time around. Leave the dog behind for a while. She likes being here. You know, she's got a yard here. It's different than staying at a condo and let the dog go in the yard. And she goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, so stay out in the sun. The sun's good for you, right? Get the fresh air. But part of the thing is, man, you know, if you're able to, try to work on with these courts and yourself. I don't know what your conditions are. Try to work on getting out of that setting, right? Get to somewhere with nature where you could be out in the light, sit in the fucking chair, and just sit there. You know, and test yourself. Hey, I'm going to put myself in a form of jail in a way, like solitude. You know, I'm going to go back to my inner and outer light. I'm going to sit in the sun, sit out in a chair. I'm going to do one day at a time. I don't care how long it takes. I'm not leaving here, you know, till I get right with myself. And I think it'll happen. As you stay away from the people, places, and things, get back right, centered in yourself, get a hold over your thoughts and emotions and your day-to-day body and your vessel, as you say. Then it's just going to be about taking that back to the world where you choose to go and starting over. So if you don't have any real obligations and responsibilities and you have X amount of savings or something that you can go and take, even like I said, I did it in a way and I was already at a different point. I think it'd be good for everybody. Go get the tent, go put it in the forest somewhere away from all the usual setting. And just do one day at a time and kind of rough it, you know, and live however you live now and just do it there and get a hold over your day-to-day vessel and its beingness. And then after a certain amount of time, you'll say, I did this amount of days in my own form of my own. Where is that coming from?
You got tuned down the dark.
I'm hearing noises.
Yeah, it sounds like statics on the line. Must be the stream is getting electrocuted.
Yeah, I think that the more that you. No, I think it's you.
I
No, it's not. Dan, are you moving something? Are you fiddling with something?
No, man, I'm just sitting in the yard. There's a little bit of wind, but there ain't too much of a breeze. I don't think that's the problem. I think it might be the phone. Maybe it's old. It's on. You know, that another suggestion you made last time was to just fucking do away with the phone. And today's supposed to be the day where the phone goes off.
Right, because I fucking told you that you're in a position where you're newly off the shit, and if you got rid of that phone, you'd have had no one to call to get dope.
Dude, I got fucking places to drive to. You know, it's no problem.
Right, but if you weren't around there, you'd have no one to call and nowhere to go to get dope. You have to make it that much more difficult for you to go back to old people, places, things, and ways. You have to create impediments from your old ways, not make it easier to go back. So you have to tell on yourself, and you have to create barriers and boundaries between that, not make it easier to access. You put a kid in a candy store, it's only a matter of time before he's going to taste something. Common fucking sense.
To break the patterns, we got to change the environment and the habits and the choices. And, you know, this idea, everything that Paul's saying, I absolutely agree. Another idea, though, you said that one day you want to become an inspiration for others. Well, the sun is shining today. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of people who maybe have it a little worse than you in some way. You know, maybe someone if you're in physical shape and you got some skills, maybe you know someone who's elderly, could use a little bit of support, taking care of stuff. When we do good deeds, we feel better. And when you feel better, you don't.
I got one more chair. I got to do this one. This one's all rust bucket here. I did this one, though. Looked pretty good. But I helped the old lady. You know, like you said, I do things like that, and I'm kind of proud of you. You know, you build off of that stuff.
There you go. So if you find more projects like that, you can knock out, and it's actually beneficial. I mean, because be careful. Sometimes we do things, we'll spend time doing something saying this is great, and really the result doesn't really help. But if you can find ways to help and have fun, Danny, you'll feel better, and you won't want to keep putting that crap, whatever the crap is, into your body.
Yeah, it's no good. Crap. Garbage. Stinks.
Yeah. Hey, recognize that. There's a lot of other options for you. Rather than garbage, you can find whatever. Exercise, what Paul said, find something to learn, man.
Change your world, dude. Change your world. And we want you to do well, Danny. We really do. I first time meeting you, but hey, I want you to make it through this.
Hey, and actually, Danny, I remember my dark days, but if you go back and there's plenty of support in the chat. You know, the support that Paul's offered you, even when the live's not on, you can go back and hit the replay, right?
Yeah.
You got some support and encouragement, man.
I try to just moment to moment right now, and I am gonna jump off, and I'm gonna go get some stuff to make a garden. I don't ever know, what I'm doing with that shit, but how hard could it be to put shit in the ground? I don't know. It can't be that hard, right? What's the worst that could happen? The rabbit come and eat it? I don't know.
Hey, look at Lou right next to you on the panel. He's out there in the garden, man.
Oh yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
man
he's out there working.
I bet if you got questions, Lou would give you some answers.
Can't hear you, Lou.
Or not.
I'm looking for a garden. How much do you think I got to spend? I just got to buy the seeds. That's all I'm planning on buying. I'm telling you that. I got $25 till unemployment comes again, and that's Wednesday. Is today still Monday? Fuck.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah, we're not moving too fast, but yeah, I got just enough money to make it where I'm at right now and what I'm doing, and I got a little bit of gas in my truck. I was able to get that done today too. I got to write some more stuff down. I got to get done with before I should tie up some loose ends before I go, because if I'm gonna have I should have my mail forwarded somewhere where it's safe, instead of holding my mail at the post office and having to go there and get it. I got to figure out where I'm going to have it forwarded. Probably my sister's.
Mic check. Can you hear me now?
Hear you. We hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to ask Jack if you wanted to come stay up at my place and help me out for a couple of weeks. I'll give you a room, Jack. I won't charge you much. $300 a month.
Come on, Jack or Danny?
Jack.
I guess that's
You willing?
You gotta get your hands dirty.
I have to get that money. How's it going, Danny? Not too good?
I don't know. I'm okay today, right now. How about yourself?
You still messing with that woman?
No, hell no.
No, eh? Good.
No.
Maybe down the road, but not right now, right?
I'd rather mess with a toothless prostitute. No, I do wish the best for her, man. I know she's got her own problems, and maybe I couldn't carry her weight anymore. But yeah, she has a good, really fair sometimes. And maybe she's got a mean streak in her from Amityville Horror House. But I hope the best.
We have to work our legs for long enough to where we can carry our own weight, right?
Yeah, my legs are tired. I had to run to catch a bus today. I guess that was my.
I know. I can't even stand up here. That was the new movement. Hashtag stand up. So I don't try to take on anybody else's burdens and problem and lifestyle because I have enough carrying my own weight.
Amen.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get this garden started, and I'll be following later on tonight.
All right, Dan.
Stay strong, Dan.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right, we'll see you later, Danny.
God be with you.
No, I feel for the guy. I hope he does well. I really do.
He will when he chooses to.
Exactly.
And the excuse, what Paul said, and it's real common. Each of us do that. We want to be convinced that we're different because of our diagnosis, or we get some label placed on us. And then this society, a bunch of enablers, we enable excuses. Oh, you're right. You can't overcome that. You're right. You can't do this. It's one thing I love about Paul. He doesn't accept the excuses, man.
Well, I can't accept them for me or anyone else. It's one thing to say, hey, I'm a lazy, fat fuck, procrastinator, haven't done enough, and own that position. It is what it is. That's accountability. I can't allow myself to do that because then we go back to that state of beingness, right? So it's one thing to have to do more and want more and be more and create more. It's another thing to not accept what is and not meet life on life's terms. That is delusion. So, you don't have to always feel great about who you are right now, but you could feel better about who you're going to become based on the action steps you're going to take. But you have to learn to think that way. You either have to be taught that way or learn to think that way or relearn to think that way because you've learned you think something about yourself, right? You've accepted a whole bunch of beliefs about yourself. I'm this, I'm that. This is where I'm from. This is where I'm always going to be. I'm never going to be X, Y, Z. I'm always going to be this. You can't write a story like that for yourself. You can't speak like that. Like they always tell me, words have power, right? I will describe somebody's condition when they're being egoic and trying to play games. I will also tell somebody, don't speak badly about yourself and create a reality you can't escape from. That's foolishness. It's better to say, I don't feel like it's possible. I don't know how it's going to happen. I can't perceive of it. This is what I've always known. You can't say, I'm this, this, and this, and this is the way I am, as if it can't change. If you speak that way and live that way, you're going to get the results of that. So it's going to appear that way, right? You create your own reality on some level. And then the rest of it is cause and effect, universal law. So you got to meet your world with the world, so to speak.
Better yet, see it as if it's happening the way you want it.
Right? And imagining, envisioning it. That's obviously a positive process. But it's hard. Again, I'm not being enabler or victiming. I know what it's like to be somewhere with a needle in me and doing the blood in and out and having somebody just talk to me 5 seconds ago about being a normal person. I go, you don't get it. You don't get it. I'm broken. There's no way back for me. I'm waiting to die or go to prison or both. Right? So for somebody who's in that space, there is no hope. Right? But that's where faith comes in. Hope is as hollow as fear. If you have faith in doing the next right thing and putting time in between the last wrong thing you did and doing more and more right things, just have faith in that process and doing that and working that. And over time, you'll see the results. So I've seen that in my own life, right? again, you don't need to be hopeful to be faithful. Just do the next right thing and surrender the rest. It's easier to not go do it than it is to go do it. And they'll say, oh, well, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, no, it is that way. You just don't feel that. So just commit to not doing it, right? This is where we learn discipline and commitment and dedication. Just commit to not doing that, right? Just commit to doing something else. I'll even meet them halfway because all these people come down on them. Oh, if you use any other thing, you're still an addict and whatever. Now you put it in their head that no matter what they do, may as well go do the crack. Nah, you want to play this game with me? We'll play because I've done it. I was there telling them for whatever reason, I'm going to continue to smoke reefer on probation. They said, we're going to put you in jail. I said, okay, then you know what? I'm not doing it now. And I just kept doing it and told them I wasn't doing it, then brought fake piss. So for somebody to go from being a heroin addict on 4 Xanax bars a day and other shit just to leave the house because I was a special kind of person who couldn't deal with anything, going to the store, anything, couldn't leave the house, right? So to go from that to pretty functional and working and just using reefer, that's like a life-changing scenario. So I'm not going to tell somebody if they can go and use reefer and keep themselves from killing themselves short term and create some momentum and still use something to take the edge off or to refocus them. Go ahead and do it. We're now in a world where reefer's legal, so it's great for all the slaves. Back in my day, as they say, wasn't too long ago, wasn't legal, wasn't, so either way, they're going to fuck with you. So it's a different world now. You go right down the block, wait in line like a good slave, get a little bit of reefers, edibles or something, take it. You could do that every day for 6 months. I ain't really going to complain at you. And I think if you did that and you tricked your addict mind into saying, well, at least I had my thing today. At least I had something today. Because you can't get through the day without something. Okay, so trick the addict mind, right? I'm going to go take a little piece of edible, right? And then at some point, then what you're going to find is you're going to have 6 months and never have done nothing. Then you have to go, okay, now I have the time. I feel different. I'm not as compulsive and impulsive. What the fuck am I going to do with all this extra time and nothing to do? Then you dedicate it to something else, right? So, he said it before. I told him what to do. You'll either do it or you won't, because I've been there where no one's going to tell me that I'm going to come off all drugs completely. I still haven't. I still use reefer. They consider that a drug. And I use it regularly, as you see. But it doesn't create a mismanagement for my life. I don't have to have it. I prefer to have it. I usually will have it. There's a day I haven't gone without it unless they put me in jail. And I find that, hey, I could go to jail and still live with myself and be with myself. It's nowhere near the same thing as pills, powder, heroin, whatever the fuck else. It's a completely different world. So I still have a management over myself in my inner space. It's still an addiction. It's still a compulsion and impulse to use it. It's more than just a physical pain-killing thing for me. It's become a habituation and just a part of my ritual and my day. And, there's a lot there psychologically. And at some point, I'm sure I'll choose to put it down completely or seriously limit it, because I've seen folks at some point, they just do that.
Paul, I've been going for almost 40 years. Well, take away about 8 or 9 years. I quit when my son was born. But yeah, I've been smoking since I've been 20. So I got over 40 years smoking reefer, man.
Why limit something that is a gift from God? You just got to use it correctly. I think the smoking is probably not the best.
Right.
But it's a gift from God. Why not do it? I don't know.
I'm just saying to you that I've never gone since the age of 18 or 19, and even before that, a day, well, not a day, but weeks or months without feeling like I have to do something, right? So I just, at a certain point, as my inner space changed and I felt more control over that, I mean, I guess you could say I'm one of those people who's always been bored by life. While I see the magic and the mystery and the miracle all around me, it's just another day for me. We're here. We're doing what we do. So, I've just, and again, I'm one of those, I'm like a shamanic consciousness, if you want to play the justification game for me doing what I do and making it something holier than thou, right? Like, I don't get uppity and ambitious about leaving the hut to go chase animals up trees, to go do war on the opposing colony, right? To build grand architecture. I'm not motivated by it. I'm not, and again, maybe that's something that was done to me at one point, taking all their ADHD drugs, because I looked into that. They say they burn out a part of your brain and you just don't have no more real motivation or ambition to do much of anything. I don't even get into that because here I am 6 to 8 hours a day doing a fucking broadcast, half the time descending into insanity. So obviously I'm motivated and ambitious to do certain things, grow reefer, whatever the fuck else I'm into. So, make love to women, apparently. I'm motivated enough to do that. Sometimes, not even always completely. But, yeah, there's certain consciousnesses, it would seem, that come into this realm and just like Dan says, not like most. So I'll meet them halfway. You're a shamanic consciousness, live and act like that. You're kind of bored by life. It's the same thing over and over again. You see the bigger picture and the majesty and the grandness, and you have reverence for it. But ultimately, you're not like caught up here. You're not stuck here. You're not hanging on to this body and this experience. It's a transitory event. So that can be, some folks will say that's the height of spiritual enlightenment. Just completely neutral state where you go, hey, I'm here. I'm alive. I'm thankful and grateful for who I am and what I have. I could co-create in love, or I could just sit here and do nothing. And I don't feel, overwhelmingly compelled to do and be as good or better than anyone else. It's a me versus me thing, right? So like Wes Watson will talk about, I know that I should exercise more certain ways to get my body together for me, right? I know that I should learn legal process more so I could sue these hoes and check them and create more content and save more slaves, including myself first, right?
Use the word will instead of should. Remove the should and use I will.
Well, that's why I started doing that, Lewis. And, there are points, as I've described, I'm not making excuses. I'm not a victim of my lack of will and discipline. There are times when I feel like this may be like one of the things I need to work on the most is when I don't have a habit and a structure and I feel like I'm in limbo, everything else in my life takes a back seat, right? I don't feel in control. I don't feel secure. So then I just surrender everything and I go, all I have is me, the word, what I do day to day, which is pretty much this and maybe one or two other things that I hold fast to, right? But when I'm not like on a land feeling like, okay, this is where I'm at, this is mine, this is what I have to do indefinitely, I don't fucking clean, I don't exercise, I barely do anything, right? Until I get in that space. So that's just the thing I've learned about me. I'm sure I could change that like anything else because I don't ever want to believe that you're just who and what you are and have that pattern and habit. But I've noticed that about me throughout my life. If I don't have structure and habit and a certain plan or strategy or an idea throughout the day of what I need to do, then I just neglect everything.
Yeah, I just spent the last, few years like that. Just sort of sitting in limbo. And at a certain point, I had to just make a choice to say, okay, it starts today. And I just had to start today. And that's it. And it's funny how when you start, it's like a snowball. You just got to start it down the hill and it ends up huge once it gets momentum. And the more I stay in that situation where the more I stay there, the harder, the worse I get. I get to the point where I don't fucking want to even, do anything.
Right. It's a kind of an adaptation thing in a way where you learn to kind of surrender to just doing the time, so to speak, of being in life, or being a part of life. But yeah, that's why I could just observe from a third party view. When I was up on the other land and I was with the plants, like here, I'm at the house. They're moving stuff to another property, and then I'm gonna be the last thing to go with this thing, and then because everything to me at this point is centered around the broadcast. I'm like, I tell everyone, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about anything else. Do we have service, and how do we get that hooked up? Because I need to do the broadcast. So I've created that thing for myself to show up for me and others, and that's my main purpose and meaning. And it pretty much creates a lot of what I benefit from in various ways, and others. Because again, I had someone message me yesterday, send me $40 and go, hey bro, just keep doing what you do because you're making a difference and you're motivating people like me out there and we're changing. So that's all I need. right? And you could say, oh, I'm money hungry. I didn't do this for money. The fact the person sent me fucking value because they say I'm giving value and then tell me that, fuck everybody at that point. That's what I have to live for that. Because if not, I'll let all these other hoes and haters trick me out of my position, have me switching up on what the fuck I do and who I am. And that's not going to happen. So I know what I need to do more of. I know what I need to do less of. And then again, I just hold fast to certain things. I got spiritual faith, understanding of myself, and I do this broadcast. So if nothing else, I got that in for the day. Right now, I could take that 2, 4, 6, 8 hours because I'm not doing much of anything else. Once I get over there, like I said, I've made it even a choice at times to cut the broadcast when I don't want to, because I say, this is not good for me and everyone else. We need to get off the screen. It's what needs to be done, not even what the fuck I want to do. So, yeah, there's power in doing really what you need to do, not what you want and don't want to do. And that's true responsibility, accountability, discipline, and will. And I saw that come out of myself when I was on the land and with the plants and had the animals there. I was doing shit that I don't eat the animals. I don't even eat the eggs, but I'm taking care of them because they're there and it needs to be done. Someone's got to do it. So you put yourself in those positions where you take on the responsibility and then you don't say, well, I take on responsibility I couldn't handle. No, you chose not to handle it, and then there's more accountability there, right? So, yeah, oftentimes like Jack or whoever else will probably say, why the fuck would I want to do that? Or, I don't even need to do that. It might be good for you to create a situation where you need to get something done every day, like we did with the broadcast, right? I think that's good for Jack. It's good for anybody. So now, as he does it more and more, like in the beginning, it was like a rusted kind of machine. Now it's almost like we all expect it, just like me, right? So it's like 5:30, I go, it's Jack time. Everybody else, it's Jack time, right? So he set that habit for himself. It's a habit for success, even if it's succession within, because he's going to feel on some level, hey, I showed up today for something that I had to do, and I put myself hopefully all into it, right? And there was some value in there, and we had an interesting experience, and we move on with our day. So you just stack the day with shit like that, if you can.
Sorry, did you hear that?
What, are you urinating into that bottle?
No. Ah, shit, I forgot what I was going to say, but... must have not been important.
What else is due?
New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire, New Guinea.
Right.
That Talsheimer is setting into Lou as well, it seems.
He's in his second childhood.
Hey,
I'm going second puberty.
Hey, you've inspired a whole bunch of shit, Paul. Not shit, a whole bunch of ideas, man.
I was going to say, Paul, ever since you were on Brian's channel, High Impact Flicks, I'm telling you, every second video he makes is on right to travel, rights and freedoms.
Listen, bro, here's the bottom line. I'm never going to get the credit I deserve. I'm okay with that. Just do like they all say to do. Just send me money, okay? Let's just get right down to it. Let's play on the level everyone else plays on. Just send me pussy and money to show your appreciation. Because I'm not going to sell Patriot boxes on here.
I've noticed a lot more auditors.
And Brian's never going to probably mention me ever again or have me on, just so everyone knows. Okay? It's what it seems. I don't want to believe that. I love the guy. I think we could work together. I think there's a lot of people I could work with. More importantly, I think that we could foster a change. But that has to come from within. Okay? So we all know what the fuck we're doing and not doing. Some people are in a lot better shape than me. They got a lot better stuff. They do other things I don't do. There's stuff I do they won't do or can't do. I don't think it's won't because they're scared. So we're living without fear here is the bottom line.
I think Brian's an honest guy, and I like him. I think he's honest.
Listen, bro, you could tell me somebody's honest. Are they really real with themselves and others?
I don't have that same opinion about him. Yeah, he promotes the politics too much as well.
Well, he shows...
I told you what happened with me and him.
Why that look, Jack? Why you have that look on your face? Like, did I say something that you don't agree with?
Who, me?
Brian?
I don't think he promotes government.
No, he doesn't promote it, but he shows what. Not that he promotes government, but he shows their actions and what they're doing, and it just keeps people in that mindset of government control. No, I'm not saying he promotes it. You know, he doesn't.
They won't accept the rap completely. They're fascinated by it. They're infatuated with me and my presentment at times. They won't accept the reality of what it is, and they won't live by it in all ways. And that makes me somebody who they can't yoke to. I can't yoke to them, and they can't yoke to me. And it's almost inherent. They just know that naturally. It's like a primate instinct that people have. They go, we can't yoke to Paulie. We have all these other people here. We can do it with them, not him, because of what he stands for. It's going to cause us both problems. So they'll have me around sometime. We'll talk about certain things. They'll cover it. They're interested. They're infatuated. They know it's real and true. They can't live it or won't live it. So we can't go anywhere, right? And then when I talk to them, hey, bro, they come to me. Him and other people come to me. Hey, what do you think about this? And I tell them, it's not what I think about it. It's what is. It's dual jurisdiction. Don't come to me and say that you're a public service accommodation and have a license with the state and think you're going to do man on the land, quote unquote, stuff, which you keep calling sovereign citizen stuff. You all are contracted. You're under their jurisdiction. You can't have it both ways. Oh, well, that's not. No, it's not about not fair. They pimped and macked you. They got one loop for you, and you're going to go through it, right? Because you think that's the only one there. Because you're not willing to try other stuff that other people have tried with possible sacrifices. Okay, so sorry that they, like they used to say, don't hate the player, hate the game. They created a great game to test you on how to be a man, and you won't do what's necessary because you're too scared. You know, so what's the point about talking about me and other people and what the fuck we've done? The only reason we did it because we didn't want to be cowards and bitches on our land anymore. We wanted to act like fucking men. And that means travel freely without consent from other men and their bullshit codes and twisted definitions. Because like the guy said yesterday, traffic could mean different things in different venues. Really? We're going to play this game? So drug trafficking and human trafficking means commercial activity in one venue, and the next venue trafficking is not that? We're not doing that. That's pimping and macking. That's double talk. Doesn't work for me. Trafficking is trafficking. From the beginning of time, fuckface. You're not changing thousands-of-year-old etymology because you don't like it or because it doesn't fit your bullshit narrative. Doesn't work that way. The Supreme Court's ruled on it. Oh, where do we find it? Where do we get it? I don't even need them to rule on it. It's an opinion of another man inside of a corporation. It's meaningless to me as well. But it's been talked about. The right to use to public roadway is an untaxable, uninfringible right to the citizen, it says, not even a man on the land, the citizen. So even as a person, an entity, a United States corporate citizen owing allegiance to United States Corporation defined under USC 1 as United States Federal Corporation. Go read it. Still, as a citizen under that system, you have a right to move on the roadway without being taxed and having to do all their nonsense. I don't give a fuck what the state officials try to tell you or the locals. It's a United States corporation or land for a reason. The federal is supposed to be an umbrella everybody is conforming to, unless they're going to do checks and balances, in which case they have to substantiate at court. It's like saying the feds are going to come in and make reefer illegal. Right. Reefer is lawful. It comes from God, and grown people have a right to choose to use a plan if they want to. So get the fuck out of our face. Checks and balances. We're not following that. The feds could say, we're outlawing assault weapons. Anything over 28 rounds or 15 rounds is considered assault weapon over this caliber. Get the fuck out of our face. We have a right to bear arms. If you got it, we got it, and then some. Checks and balances. You can't come in and say, we're going to go to the bottom and force municipal state code on everyone when the feds at the top say checks and balances, we have a right to travel. See how that works? Everybody gets checked. Anybody could get it, top or bottom. It's about a principle, an idea. No one's above the program, and the power's with the people. What don't you get about this?
I love it when people say that the Second Amendment was written when there was only muskets. It's actually so far from the truth, it's not even funny.
It doesn't matter. The Second Amendment was written so you could go to war with government if they try to take your rights, freedom, and principles. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And there was
stated in there.
Yeah, and there was all kinds of repeating firearms, like Gatling gun, like repeating cannons. And all that was
nobody at that time carried a firearm for anything but two reasons: defending themselves from tyrannical scum and hunting. Okay, so they needed a gun to live, because if not, tyrants would have taken what the fuck they had, and or another predator on four legs would have taken them and what they had. So it's the same principle. From the beginning of time to the end of time, every good man carried a gun to stop tyrant scum from taking their rights and properties in uniform or out, or to secure their livelihood. And that'll always be true for the beginning of time to the end of time, because nobody has a right to come in and project onto everyone else what's appropriate and not. It's that simple. And you're definitely not going to do it till you give it up first. You want to put everyone under the same conditions? When I see everybody give up their guns, then I'll think about it. I still might not give it up, because why would I? Why would I? That gun's going to sit there. It's not going to do no harm. I got no reason to. It's a great investment. Great investments, these guns. My father bought a $200 Smith & Wesson revolver. It's worth $2,000 now. Fuck nuts. What's your currency worth? Dog shit. Always was. 80% devaluation in the last 50, 80, 100 years. So, yeah, keep telling me I'm gun boy when I keep investing privately in heavy metals that are going to secure in value and go up while you lose your fucking livelihood from your bank account. Guns are always going to be valuable. You'll always find a buyer. Even if I have to take 10, 20, 30% off the price, still better than your devaluation. Over 50 years, 20, 30 years, right? I'm a long game person. If I have, after a certain amount of numbers on the screen, everything else goes into other shit to me, because it's numbers on the screen anyway. Long as I could keep creating and producing on some level, there's always something there. So I'm not in a lack space. So everything after a certain point goes back into certain things. That ain't going nowhere, right? And it's just going to keep going up. And even if I have to take a cut on that, it's still better than your devaluation of currency, because it's going to 10x, okay, over 20 to 30 years, like that pistol. And then I'm going to take 10, 20% off that. And you tell me if $200 is $2,000, right? Exchange for exchange. If you could go now and get the same exchange rate, go and take $200 then, $200 now, and get the same thing for $2,000. If that makes sense. I'm not saying that. The way I just said it made no sense, but I think you know what the fuck I'm saying. You feel it's expert panel? Gold and silver. That's another one. The guy told me the story yesterday. I got right out of the car with Jennifer. This is common sense. Gold and silver has been the same value since the beginning of time almost. Just hasn't lost its value. Still get the same shit you could thousands of years ago. So they did an article in the 1980s. They told all the slaves, if you want to not be a broke-ass slaves, get 3 things. Land, 4 things. Land, gold and silver, and guns. That was back when they used to tell the slave shit that would help them. They just stopped doing that now. Now they just tell you how to kill yourself. How do you kill yourself in 10 easy steps and do it for safety? Here's an article. Back in the day, like 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, they used to tell slaves how to do shit to get ahead. No one listened. Very few people listened. Because even back then, if you went to go buying land, gold, silver, and guns, everyone in your family would say, what are you doing, Johnny? Right? What are you doing? You're crazy. You're one of these sovereigns. And then you'd be a fucking millionaire like Jed Clampett, who struck oil on his property. And then they turn around one day and they're in a fucking old folks home on benefits, living with Social Security, right? This fucking guy over here bought land in the middle of nowhere. It's a piece of shit out in the desert, right? It's got a great view of the mountains, but there's nothing there. It's just a fucking sandy strip. It's 3x in the last few years, just because they're going to build around it, right? And you could tell already that. You could go into a town and see they're starting to build down over there. It's only going to be 3 to 5 years before they make it over there. So buy something over there and just hold it. If you put 3, 5, 10,000 into that and held it, you 3x over 3 to 5 years. The top hedge fund in the world does an 18% return year to year. So you're looking at 18, 36, 42. Is that correct math there? I don't like doing math, Brian O'Shea.
I wasn't paying attention. Say it again.
What is it? I missed it too. I was in chat. I got my new duties. I can't.
I always love throwing numbers out there and then watching Brian O'Shea try to calculate, and then he just sits there and looks at me.
I just guess. No, go ahead. Give it to us again.
It doesn't matter, O'Shea. The point is, see, I'm doing too many things at once, O'Shea, and my awareness is all over the place. Doing so many things and nothing all at once.
Yeah, me too. With my new chat duties here, it's get used to this.
That's the thing. I'm in the middle of talking, then I look at you and I see you looking around and doing shit, and then I start wondering in the middle, like trying to do any kind of math. I'm like, what's Brian O'Shea doing right now? What's he up to? I see him looking around. The land returns 10x.
And returns 10x. Yeah? What was that? What's the return that gets 10x?
Your thoughts, Talcott, on Brian O'Shea's insanity? It was 54, O'Shea.
54 times 10?
No,
10x?
Forget it.
I don't know. Hey, I got a surprise for you for my stream later, though. I was working on a couple of things in the background.
You got ideas for the stream, you said?
Yeah, well, you were inspiring today. And the topic I already chose is commitment. And you've been dropping some gold mines, man. You said something earlier.
Will you buy me 3 MacBook Pros that are $5,000 each, Talcott? Like Passio? I need 3 computers to do. I need 3 of the top of the line computers so that I could save the world.
Dude, he's another man. I reached out to him a long time before I found you, man, and his arrogance is just, it's like, wow. Holy,
that's coming from you.
Yeah. Well, I fucking love you, man. Yeah, coming from me. I know it. So, yeah, he's like many of these guys. What I see is many people in, not just in the truth community, people detach from the society and then end up in the truth community and then start chasing the fucking fiat just like others. And I don't think Passio does that as much. He puts out a lot of value for free. But chasing it, man, that's the problem with that Anton guy.
He's got an 80-week course where he teaches you how to be a fanarchist.
I looked at that and it sounds like there's a lot of broadcasting information in there. And so that was when I was considering that it interested me, and I had hopes of joining his little club and his creators. But I didn't really chase that very hard.
Right.
I'm just letting it go, man. But Paul, man, I'm serious. There's something here, and it's something big. And I see success and what you're talking about, man. We're on the same path. The fiat exists, and it's a tool, but it's not the focus. The focus is changing this fucking world, man.
Here he goes again. Oh,
Well,
shit, we talk to this guy.
Which one? Oh, Murphy?
Oh, man, I never should have gave this guy I gave this guy moderator. He's the only moderator now, Jennifer. O'Shea. So now I can't even have a conversation with him because he's taking it so seriously. He's spending his whole time monitoring the chat, trying to do hits on people. Relax, O'Shea. I know you want to I told him he could sexually torture anybody that he finds in violation, and he's really into that. He's really, that's the thing. It's like policy enforcement. We screen for folks who are really power hungry and want to be deviant and maybe torture people for safety. It's enhanced interrogation, really. And he's really into that. So just reel it back a little bit, right? Reel it in. I know you really want to kind of show these people what you're working with, who you are, but I need to be able to have a conversation with you. I can't have you looking to sexually torture people the whole broadcast and not even pay attention.
So, all right, you said have a conversation.
Is there someone down there who's catching your eye that you want to deal with? Because you're this whole time you've been down there, so you must have found something.
That's Citizen Broadcasting, guys.
What's he up to?
He's not talking shit, calling me the rape wrench boy. I'm your little slave.
Yeah, no, that's not right. He was saying all that? I didn't see that.
No, he's over here saying I'm not going to time him out.
Where is it? I didn't see that. Is that
Call
true,
me
citizen broadcast person? Are you saying all that about my O'Shea creature?
Brian's Paul's top slave.
He didn't say that.
You think Brian can figure out how to time someone out? I mean, I should have just did it right there, just to test it out. You know what I mean?
Well, I went to go do 18 times 3 on the broadcast just now, and I didn't even know what world I was in for a second. Right? I just realized I'm never going to try to do math ever again on the broadcast because I look legally retarded. Because I'm pretty damn good with math, but I found here, it's just something happens. It's not the right space for that, right? You go into this stream of consciousness thing, and it's it's not left brain, logical mind, worldly, mathematical per se, unless you work yourself into that. And it's just, I don't know. I hit a wall. I have to put that down and then get back in the real world, monkey mind, like Talcott likes to refer to.
Dude, you are so right. That observation about when you're in the artistic flow, the inspiration, it's tough to do logic. It's tough to do math. Holy shit. That's why the media plays on our emotions. Because you get the emotions going, then people don't fucking think. And then they just, they remember.
Right.
Holy shit. I'm sorry, man. That was just coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's a space, if this makes sense, of pure awareness in that flow space where what is logical. So you don't have to do logic, right? The mathematic is a different kind of thing for me. But, the most logical, objectively logical, is cause and effect awareness, where what is what is. It's a systems dynamics, right? It's like looking at the solar system and going, here's the parts and here's the whole and here's the function, how it all fits together, So, I don't know. I don't know if that meant anything or made any sense. So citizen person, are you saying all that about the O'Shea creature? Because he's going to sexually torture you. If you're saying all that, you're smiling. He didn't really say all that, right? You just want to have your way with him for some weird. What's your reason why you want to have your way with him? Just be honest. He didn't say all that.
I think now I figured it out. He's saying it because he wants to be deviantly molested.
He's not saying any of that. I'm watching down there. I haven't seen any of that.
He admitted to one of them.
Let me see this now. You better not be throwing me for a loop here on your first day of work. O'Shea running to daddy. He didn't admit to anything. He said you're running to daddy now. That's because of what you top slave was true. Okay, he did say that. All right, yeah, you can't. That's not right. Why is it I give Brian one job, something he's good at, sexual torture with a wrench, and everyone starts throwing insults at him? Do you need to be taken in the back for 5 minutes of treatment to really figure out who's in a power position right now? because I'll put him back there with you. So please don't insult my O'Shea creature. I've given him certain trustee responsibilities to create order here and do enhanced interrogations. Please respect that.
His integrity is already being tested as well, because I see Lieberman offering to bribe O'Shea to get rid of me. So
no. He can't. He knows he doesn't have any of that power, right? And if he exercises his power unlawfully, there'll be consequences.
Hey, just because, well, it's obvious. Breaking news. Apparently, there was a premiere from Cotflix, if I may.
There was?
I put the link in the private. Yeah.
But I think I ran that yesterday. Did we see that yesterday?
No, this is brand new.
No
Jack
way.
Talcott has been.
Oh my God. Jack Talcott's been arrested. All right. Well, this is up to the minute. 7 minutes ago.
Concerned now about.
What are you concerned about, Jack?
Talcott clip collection comment. Joe's laugh too, man.
A life coach accused of making some bad life
Court documents say he was naked at a community school. John Erickson joins us, and John, a mom didn't hesitate to call the cops.
And Katie, it was that mom who says when she first spotted the guy, he was actually in the water, sitting in a whirlpool. Problem was when he got out of the water and was fully nude. Her kids saw the whole thing. She called the cops.
A lot of offense early.
There are coaches for football, for basketball, for baseball. But Jack Talcott is a coach for life. That's his job, a life coach. But police say the life coach made the wrong call when he walked around his apartment complex pool naked in front of kids.
First of all, this is not clothing off the property.
Police say that when they showed up at this complex, Talcott was still nude. They hauled him away. He's charged with felony indecent exposure.
Oh, man.
His website says he's been coaching people to make the right decisions for 15 years. People who live at the complex thinking the coach might need a coach of his own.
Yeah, it crosses the line anywhere, but particularly with kids. There's kids here.
Fuck Talcott. He got you again on this shit?
Live here full time.
And when you live in a public
It's like the
arena
third or
like
fourth
this,
time. I
it's
told
all
you.
about common courtesy. That's what I taught my kids.
She says it's important to let kids keep their innocence. Says that means keeping your shorts on at the pool. So she's happy that Talcott will get some life tips of his own from a judge. And we talked to a woman who used to have the suspect as her life coach. She says these allegations shock her. As for the life coach himself, we talked to him over the phone. He didn't want to talk about the incident.
Talcott, I told you, you got to keep everything under wraps. I know you're a loving man and you just want to have fun and take a dip, but I told you, this shit will get you hammed up. You're a public figure now.
Well, I didn't expect the children in the middle of the day like that, and I didn't think they'd be surprised.
Right. That makes sense.
Oh my goodness,
You still,
man.
okay. I'm going to let it go. This is very concerning news, but we have the best team of attorneys on it for Mr. Talcott. I'm the part of the TPA agent, number one Talcott Protection Agency. So I'm tasked to protect Jack Talcott at all costs. So our legal team is on it. Jack is going to be exculpated immediately of all charges.
Amen.
Yeah, he didn't know any better. He was just taking it. Again, it's happened a few times before, but it's an easy mistake to make. He's a very loving man. He likes to rub his knees. He likes to be nude. You know, nothing wrong with that. Anything wrong with that, ladies and gentlemen? No, I didn't think so. Okay? He wasn't masturbating this time in public. He was just taking a dip. So, yeah, I'm not going to let this go forward. Your thoughts, expert panel, on the breaking news events.
Dude, the editing again, man. Holy cows. Just top notch. I am a fan.
I don't understand the nudity being a big deal unless someone's trying to sexually advance. But, you know, if everybody walked around nude all the time, who the fuck would care, you know? We're all the same underneath, you know?
Right.
I don't promote anything in front of children, of course, but if that's all they ever experienced, it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like it's not even about the children. The children don't ever complain. They just use that as an excuse, like the guns.
And you
It's
always
the
let your
adults.
children walk
Because
around
Talcott,
naked.
yeah, Jack Talcott's got a huge dong, and he just lets it, you know, kind of flap around and wave around in the
Yeah,
air.
that might be embarrassing walking next to Jack Talcott, but
Yeah, they're like in their ego, man. That's why he says I trigger egos. When he lets that big dong of his just kind of flap out there in the breeze at the public pool, right? At the local hotel, even people just get uppity, can't handle it. So that's their problem, man.
Dude, your buddy, the health nut, just came to mind. Sunbathing the starfish. Have you
Okay.
seen? He promotes sunbathing nude and sunbathing your ass. He's a bizarre creature, man. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, that's my buddy now.
Well, why not? You said you went. I thought you were.
Yeah, no, we work together. I mean, I
Yeah.
appreciate him and that whole experience. We're hardly buddies, but you know, he was working with me on stage from the crowd and helping to facilitate, and you know, helped with me being part of an event, and I'm thankful for all of it. What happened afterward, I still don't really know, and who knows, right? Because you know, that's the thing about life, is they tell you one thing, but it's rarely ever that, and then you know you don't hear anything, and then I don't know. I try not to get too deep into it.
Brother, it's tough not to, man. People are weird, and when they don't explain themselves, you never know what's going on. That dude, though, I actually I'd work with him too regarding my health, except I'd know when to tell him no, because he does like that urine stuff too, I think. But ripped at 50 is his message. Shit, I'll be 50 this summer. So
is this person asking me about that? They know better than to ask me about that. I'm not sunbathing my butthole. So, no. They put me on a flyer, apparently, and promoted me as being part of an event, and then told me pretty much, you know, at the last moment that they didn't have the funding, so they had to cut back on certain things. And I found that interesting, that I was one of the things that had to be cut back on, considering, oddly enough, for some reason, the Gorilla, again, was apparently top billing. I was, you know, because I didn't think I did good the first time. They said, you were one of the best, if not the best speaker, according to the people. I said, okay, whatever. You know, praise God, like Talcott says. That's all I go to do. And I go, what is real? And I go, take the wheel, Jeebus. And then it just, you know, everything kind of goes where it goes. But then something happens. Something always happens, it seems, where somebody gets wind of something, I say something, somebody complains about me, and then I just go away. You know, they go, we don't deal with him, we don't work with him. And I'm always pretty humble and reverent, respectful, and I don't like make demands. I'm not like, you know, high class. You know, they give me a tent, I stay in it. I don't fucking need anything. I just show up and do what I do. And whatever I'm kind of offered, I'm thankful and grateful for. So, you know, it'll tell you a lot about people in life, right?
Paul, you and I are on very similar paths, but quite different. I mean, these characters, he's another one. He's got some arrogance that I'd like to help him overcome. And if he overcame his arrogance, maybe, you know.
Who was it? You talking about Wes Watson?
No, Eric, the health nut.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, you pretty much got this complaint about everybody.
Oh yeah, dude.
You're like
egos are insane. I mean, you said it earlier. You said something about not meeting life on life's terms. When you don't meet life on life's terms, you end up with fucking delusions. And then people start convincing themselves, I can't. And I thought of this today. I can't implies that you think God is incapable of change. Think about that. Can't. That needs to get the hell out of our vocabulary.
Yeah, well, sometimes I'll do stupid shit, like, you know, take acid and then admit that I did it and then went on stage, and I probably shouldn't have talked about that. So that probably didn't help.
Dude, that's a great experience, man. And you shared it with those there.
Right, but it's probably not the best PR. You know,
Right.
that, hey, like a presenter, we're supposed to be normal, regular people who are like, you know, I get it, you know, I guess. Kind of like how my father said I should be more like Sean Hannity and do a broadcast. You know, so when you say what actually happens, and, you know, I'm not like down on it, and I'm not like promoting these things. I'm just like, hey, once in a while, if I'm in a certain set and setting around certain people and there's a vibe, I might indulge in certain things. And then later not do it for years or ever again. So I don't need it. And then what I usually find is, like, when the fun and games are over, I like go, I really didn't need to do that. And I probably would have better off not, because I like know what I need to know at this point, and there's no real cosmic awakening going on. It's just party favors. And that's not what this is about. Right. So, but like, again, you go to these festivals and it's like half the thing is dancing and lights and techno music. And it's not necessarily my thing, but, you know, when in Rome, I guess. So, you know, I take a little bit of acid and I start jumping around a little bit and acting a fool. Whatever. You know, like I said, probably not something that you're supposed to be part of if you're there to be a presenter. I guess the other presenters didn't do that. See, that's the thing, right? You invite me to be a presenter, and I'm like one of the people. So I like present, and then I go out with the people and do what they do, you know, the lowly people. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's none of that. Maybe it was just what they told me. They didn't have enough money. But they never said to me, hey, would you come for less? Hey, would you come for nothing? They didn't even ask me that. Like, maybe I'd have like came there for just expenses alone and not paid me anything, and then we'd have gave the people something and whatever. I don't know. Like I said, typically in most venues, it's not cool to do certain things and be a part of certain things and then talk about it on top of it. They're like, wow, you're a dumbass. I go, no, I'm just real, and I'm not going to sit around living a life and not fucking talk about what's happened. Like, I have to be two different people. That's not where I get my power. That's where I lose it. So what you see is what you get, I guess. And if you like that dynamic, then you'll fucking book me for something. If you don't, then stay the fuck away from me. And people are going to do that anyway, so I don't have to tell them that. Because, yeah, I'm going to smoke reefer outside your establishment. Yeah. Like Brian O'Shea, I might masturbate in one of the public restroom stalls. Okay, but I will lock the door, and there really will be no sights or sounds. I'm like a ninja when it comes to that. So, you know, if you're okay with me smoking reefer outside your establishment, possibly masturbating in one of your stalls, you know, and really putting my all into whatever the presentment is and being there with the people and answering questions and really working and helping, or just giving a good show, whatever the fuck that means. Yeah, I'm that guy. But, you know, a lot of these white people, I've seen it. There's a handful of events and I go there and they're like, why is he here? Oh, he's the presenter. They're like, what? You know, and then there's people who come because I'm the presenter, and they go, yeah, we came for that guy and what he knows or how he lives for whatever reason. It's odd to see it all. It's what I imagine one of these like ghetto superstars who like comes from wherever and then goes and does like stage performances in front of a bunch of white people yelling their songs, they're like, wow, this is a bizarre dynamic. And some of them love you. They're all there to see you. And some of them are kind of confused why you're there, why they're there, and what it all means. And I have the same experience. So your thoughts, Talcott. Trust me, not everything that you want is going to go the way that you would think that it does, especially if you're a certain kind of person that generally in life goes with your own flow or the flow, and realize that either you're not in the flow everyone else is in, or they're not going with it.
Yes.
Boy, that's the story right there, Paul, for sure.
I could just tell they start looking at me because I'm like on the corner smoking reefer on the side of an establishment in like a regular area. And they're like, you know, you're supposed to be presenting. I'm like, yeah, for me to present, I smoke reefer. So now I'm like Snoop Dogg, right? Like I'm somebody, you know. I go, listen, I have very little needs here, but I bring my own reefer and I'm going to use it. And that's part of my presentment, right? It wouldn't be me if it wasn't that way. So take it or leave it. If Joe Rogan can do it, I can do it.
Amen. Hey, you got my mind going because I don't know what the future is going to bring. You and I, we are instruments of the Creator, right? And I do envision being invited to participate, co-create some events and some things in the future. And you know what? I spent a lot of time alone, so my imagination's pretty fucking big. I'm thinking big, Paul.
You know, and I don't think our time comes till after we leave here. That's what the point I'm looking to.
You just flash into Talcott's mind, and it's like this huge parade. There's like Talcott balloons, fanfare.
That's probably true.
No, man.
No, I think things change after we're gone, Jack.
No, man, not some silly little Macy's parade. I'm talking world domination, man.
Right, right. The time is now, right
like that
now.
statue of Trump they had in Israel.
The what?
That big statue of Trump that they paraded in Israel. Remember that? You remember seeing that?
I didn't hear of it, but I can imagine just from what you said. There's so much fucking.
Yeah, it was pretty wild,
dude. It's like all the signs are there. We're here to shine now, right? And the way I used to live, I used to worry about trying to survive and trying to protect. And now all I want to do is give. I want to give the world a better, I don't know, whatever I can do better.
Can you give them something they don't want, though?
Yes, because the confused push away the good. It's fucking insane. I did it for years myself. I pushed away things that were good in my life and I didn't give them any attention. So I'm seeing it in our world right now. And I'm like, my faith in our Creator is, if I'm wrong, I don't care. Right?
But can we know his plan, Jack?
No. We can think we know.
Right.
And you know what? Let me not be absolute. In my experience, no.
I agree.
And that's where I've been learning, is just how to trust myself to be honest, to be moral, to do the right thing. And then I trust that God will bring, I think everything is aligning like perfectly for something. So there you go. Everything is aligned for something. And I think something is going to be greater than what we've known in the past. And I actually think what's to come is going to blow some people's fucking minds.
Well, there don't you know there've been events in the past, resets. You are aware of that, right, Jack? So I think God, showed himself in the past, because there is evidence that things took place where civilizations were destroyed like quickly and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly.
I think we are at that point right now, and most
it sure feels like it, doesn't it?
The end. If you follow logic, we live in this magical, mystical realm, really, where the impossible is real. Life should not be, but it is. I mean, and we've got all these explanations.
I'm not following you on that one. What do you mean by that? Life shouldn't be, but it is. What do you mean?
Well, maybe I'm taking this too far, but I mean, as I understand science, right? From nothing, there became.
Oh, you believe in the Big Bang?
Well, it's either a Big Bang or there's a God who had an inspiration for thought. And through the thought, consciousness.
Well, we're 180 degree apart on that one, so maybe you should continue on from the next point. Because
right.
I don't believe in the Big Bang at all. So
no, I'm saying it's the creator, the source, the God, the one. All we are, well, we are so much. I drifted off. I don't remember where I was going. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I did that.
No. We're all part of some amazing story. Oh, I think life defies, it's too perfect to be real. Okay? Because everything has an order. Everything is by cause and effect. It follows math and logic. Follows, and language is the instrument and the tool for our knowing. Language is the tool
for communicating, right? For communicating, yes.
So all we are is
but that can be used wrongly. Don't that language that comes across out of the television, you know what that does?
Brainwashing.
Exactly.
See, this is what I realized. I don't know all the ins and outs of how everything came to be, but I got a pretty good grasp of American history, especially, and overall the past couple thousand years. So what I started learning is
can I just say something that I don't believe anything as far as his story goes? I believe everything that I experienced, contemporaneously, but there's just been too many lies in history for me to even accept anything anymore, unless I experienced it myself. And that's a sad state to be in, but God help me. I mean, that's where I am, Jack. I have a hard time.
I do as well. I don't trust on the past because I've learned not to trust my memories. I've been wrong in my own mind enough times that I'd rather have facts and evidence to know. So there is so many lies in history and through what we've learned, and there's so many lies in the news today. So what you're saying is what I learned too. What all that matters, in reality, there's like a 30-foot space around me that is me. And I have to worry about me and now and what's around me. And that's it. I can't control.
What's the claim that we only know about 1% of what's actually going on in the world, So.
And that's where I realized if I can't trust my memories all the time, I really can't trust what I was taught and what I learned. I've got to be able to be comfortable not knowing. So I allow myself, I don't know. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know why yesterday happened, but it did.
Just research the World's Fairs. That's where the re-education took place after the resets.
Dude, there's some interesting stories in that.
There
You
really
follow
is.
that rabbit hole. There's some interesting stuff, man.
There really is.
This is why I'm kind of adamant too. If our society collectively would grow up and say, fuck this, truth. We want the truth. No lies, no secrets. If we did that, I think we collectively could put the pieces of what the past really was. I think we could put the pieces together and we could create a future, man.
If there was no deception, you wouldn't, people wouldn't be in these deluded states, drugged up or alcoholics, because what their life that was taught to them is a lie. So they don't know where to go. They only do what they think that they're expected to do. And that's not a real life for anyone, Jack. That's why people turn to, and I understand drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. They're looking for a way out of this manufactured reality that's created for us to live within, which is not natural for us. In my opinion, that's my opinion.
Amen, brother. It's been successful. It's been wise investments and successful employees executing the agenda of mind control. It's been brilliantly offered.
I still don't get how it's accomplished, though. How do you control so many minds? What's the source of that control? It freaks me out that's been accomplished the way it has.
Fear.
Fear and money. You control a lot of things with money as well. Fear and money, yeah.
Well, money has been used to separate us. Money has been used to control both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is where that what's High Impact, he's deep in his beliefs of capitalism, the almighty dollar, and I've tried having conversations with him, but he's shied away.
Yeah, I wish. He could probably be. I'd respect him a lot more if it wasn't for all his advertisements and stuff like that. Yeah, that's part of this. That's what I was saying. That's been part of the deception. Is even today we've got a lot of people that are learning and know what's real, but they allow themselves to make that excuse. Well, we can't change it, so I gotta, I gotta make the money to do this and this and this. But God.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
Knows that.
Ridding this world of debts.
Oh God, yes, absolutely.
Reserve and that nonsense needs to end.
Yeah, if I had any type of control, everything would be zeroed out immediately. There'd be no more debt immediately, and it wouldn't change a fucking thing. Is my point. The world would go on tomorrow just as it did today, except all the debt would be gone.
Well, this is where if secrets ended, we could have a day of forgiveness where the truth comes to light, whistleblowers stand up, and we start figuring out how deep and how massive the mess is that we've inherited.
I don't know if I could forgive.
Well, if we want to overcome debts, we're going to have to find forgiveness, and we'll have to learn how to
depending how you mean that,
we'd have to move from punishment into corrections. So
but if this is who those people are, we'd have to just, like I said, send them away, give them an island, let them live however they want. But you got to keep those people that want the corrupted minds away, because they're just going to corrupt again, in my opinion. I don't know.
So if you don't have this system of debt, how does Jack Talcott get that house he's in right now? You see, this is where the logic falls in.
Well, you have to build your own house on the land that you're given.
A majority of folks couldn't have what they have because they ain't going to build it and make it, and you can't live in a world where you're not going to build and make what you want and expect to not owe somebody.
No, you're going to be given a piece of land, and you're going to have to build your own fucking home. You're not going to get it from somebody else.
Communities
Exactly.
Share
Help each other
resources,
out.
talent. Yes.
Yes.
And
I agree.
And people can be incentivized beyond money. I mean,
absolutely.
That's the key. I think that is the solution for humanity is we need to find incentives beyond money, beyond fame. And we do that through service, serving each other in the greater good of life. That greater good has been twisted and convinced good people to go be fucking.
You could pursue whatever thing you want in life, become the best at it, but you're never going to be better than the person standing next to you. You'll never have more. You'll be appreciated and respected for what you could do and accomplish, but you're not going to be richer than the poorest person in town. I mean, everybody's going to be equal in that respect.
If you zeroed out the debt tomorrow, it would go right back to where it was.
If the system stayed the way it was. Yes,
because
all those people that are in control of the banks, they're gone. It's over. It starts at zero. There'll be no more usury. Usury is over.
The point is you can't have a system of entitlements, benefits, and privileges.
That's not what I'm saying, man. You gotta work for yourself. You get 5 acres of land per person.
Right. So the reality of that is the majority of folks who you give that condition to, I'm fine with it. But majority of folks are going to have a list of complaints and not be okay with that. They're going to prefer
today, but the generations to come are going to learn that those complaints aren't going to matter. You either make it or you don't. But nobody's going to
most folks ain't going to give up their comfortable house.
But nobody's going to fuck with you on your land ever. Nobody's going to ask you for a fucking penny. You think people would not appreciate that, Paul? Maybe I'm way out there. Maybe I'm too much of an idealist, but that's the way I think it should be.
Hey, I've considered this thought anyway. I know myself and I know many of the people who I know. If debts were forgiven, imagine how many people in America would happily leave their family, leave the comforts of their home if they and go help others. If they thought their efforts actually made a difference, and if they knew that they could take some time off from the chaos, protecting and paying for what's theirs, if people thought they could be of service, I really believe more people would. But
I agree with you, Jack, but they don't know what that is because of the entitlements today. Yes.
Yeah, debts keep everyone enslaved to jobs, and then the governments are enforcing the fucking debts. It's insane.
No question about that. It is insane.
It's a magical experience we've been gifted. And this is our lifetime to experience things. So I think I'd love to experience having some conversations with influence and importance, right?
I'd like to have conversations with them too, but I think ours would be different for sure.
Well, this is what I mean.
I think I'd be holding them up against the wall saying, why the fuck do you think you have the right to do what you're doing?
Exactly, John. But that's why I think God has been preparing me for this. I saw the opportunities a long time ago and I thought I was ready, but obviously I was not. And I haven't given up on the goals, but I have been improving. So I think I am prepared to speak with if given the opportunity, I can carry messages of truth from a place of love. I can offer them with care to reveal the problems of the world to those who might be in a position or have the resources to support some actions.
God, yes, sadly, God, that's the way the world works. I mean, I don't like that plan, but I know what you're saying, dude. I do. I just don't like the use of money.
I don't either. But what I'm talking about is if money talks, money opens doors.
No question about it.
If we can get some folks with money on this side of trying to change the world, the purpose and intentions of changing the world, they can at least open doors up and help accommodate the resources that are needed.
Do you think, how far do you think you would get with somebody like that? Or how far do you think they would get before somebody with more money stops them?
I'm prepared to see. let me see how far we can go.
That's the chessboard you're going to have to work on, Jack. You're going to have to expect those moves.
It's fine, you know. Even if someone, where you're saying, say we get someone who does support and then they become corrupted. Well, you know what? As long as we advance and we grow, you know,
not necessarily corrupted, just told to stop, and they just say, "Well, I can no longer support you," and not give you a reason. You know, those are all possibilities.
Dude, that's the story of my life. I'm good with that. Fucking excuses. What you just said. They'll come up with an excuse, and excuses keep us enslaved to the past and to this corrupted system. Someone in the system, many in the system, made excuses and allowed the system to become corrupted. But I think it's all by design. It's all God's game, man. It is all God's game.
Yeah, I just can't believe it's just evil men doing this, because you think there would have been some good guys along the way who would have said, "Fuck you, it ends here," you know? But yeah, I think there's some other kind of power going on here, some other kind of influence taking place on people. Or I don't know, Jack. I don't know. If I knew, I would be there probably.
The more, as you say that to me, the more I'm thinking it's scriptural. It's
spiritual.
It is. Thank you, spiritual. And that Bible, the words in the Bible, there is truth in those words. Truth is eternal, and you know, discern it.
You know, I never thought I'd be in this place, because I was always, you know, one of those that, you know, thought aliens were going to come or aliens created us and stuff. But, you know, since I've learned what I've learned, I know, I can't say I know, but I am on the side of, you know, this is a spiritual thing, and something's going to happen at some point here. In my opinion, it's just an opinion, of course, but something that's inside me.
It's, brother, I'm seeing that same message. There's a lot. I'm hearing that same message, not just from me and here, but people are feeling it. They're feeling a calling. They're feeling well, there's many feelings going on out there right now.
If I told you the things I've been experiencing, you'd probably think I was crazy. But yeah, there's been a lot of things going on in the last, say, 6 years that, you know, I just can't explain to myself. So I just accept it, to look at it for what it is, and just keep moving on, you know.
That's what I've been learning for myself. You know, I try to read the signs and do my best to figure out what is going on. I mean, for my own life, and what direction do I go? It's hard to know for sure, but the biggest thing is learning to be comfortable with trust that there is a spirit of intelligence greater than you that's leading you. And that's what the Bible is talking about.
Yeah. So I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, right? God, boy, that's such a difficult thing to trust in when you go out there and you know the monsters that are out there and what they'll do to you, what the possibility of what could happen. Yeah, but hey, yeah.
Taking those words seriously.
Exactly.
I think is actually kind of important, at least from my experience. There's no sympathy for the dead. Fascinating.
I never expected this to be happening in my lifetime, Jack. Fuck, man. I never expected to be going through this. Ever, ever, ever.
Me either. But I'm beginning. I don't know anything, but I'm beginning to believe that this is right. This is
either that or we're fucking crazy, you know.
This is an amazing time to be a human, and I really think it is. Some of those far out creators, messengers I've been listening to, that's what they say, that, you know, this is like a time that was foretold, and we volunteered to come here.
Jack,
to be here. Yeah, brother.
I like that saying you said. I don't know anything, but I know a lot of it.
I love you, Lou.
Hey, Jack, did you know about a week and a half ago, I tried to get in on to one of your live streams. I was at my local sports bar, and I met these two girls. One was my style, like little short, skinny, petite kind of girl, about her 40s. And one was like tall, blonde, bubble butt kind of girl. And she was moving to Washington, and she was looking for someplace to stay in Washington. And I tried to get onto your live stream to hook you up. And they were waving at you. I got them to both wave and say, "Hi, Jack." And then you kicked us all out. What the fuck was that?
That was awful rude, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, Lou.
All you did was Lou Bass, and he said, "Oh, no time for him."
Well, you know, I guess thanks for letting me know there was consequences for my choices. I saw some chat comments about you were there trying to hook me up or help me out, and brother, thank you for that.
It was just kind of ironic that I wasn't even thinking about you. And she says, "Yeah, I'm moving to Washington in a couple months." I said, "Really?" I said, "Where?" I don't know. She said someplace, I don't remember. It wasn't Spokane, but somewhere in Washington. And I said, "Well, I know a guy in Washington that might give you a place to stay." And I went to check if you're alive. You were alive. And no sooner did you just give my name and you kicked me out. "Oh, that's Lou Bass. No time for him." Click.
Damn it.
You lose.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, that's how life works. Thank you, Lou. No regrets, though. I don't mind kicking you off my panel for most of the time, Lou. And for that wild card to be in consideration, yeah, the likelihood of... Anyway, thanks for the effort, Lou. I appreciate it.
All right, Jack, let's go to Watson, and then I'm going to get out of here. I got to go try to set up the booster situation at the other spot, see if it works. And then if not, I got to figure out how I'm going to continue to broadcast. I might have to invest in a slave link, which I really don't want to do. So
I was going to say I have to take off anyways. I got stuff to do. So
thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Good to be with you.
Say hello to Anton if you see him.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll run into Anton somewhere. Take care, Lou. Take care, Lou. Take care, Brian.
Big debate. There's a big debate going around with all the people who just can't take it. Compassion or compression? What is the best form of teaching, coaching, helping others? I know that in a world full of people that are so comfortable that compression is what's needed. People don't understand that when there's too much kindness, it breeds a lack of accountability. If you have fucking consequences, you'll pull them off. In the penitentiary, there is extreme consequences if you don't get the fuck up, go to yard, and do your workout. Out here, there isn't shit. But people don't realize the consequences in the real world come about in different ways. If you slack too much and you don't get your workouts in, if you don't perform as a man, if you fail to provide, protect, and be that leader, well, then guess what? The respect of your family and the people around you goes out the fucking window. I don't think you guys understand it. Why the fuck could I come out here and get so much respect from strangers, the world, and all the above? Because we all know that the rules that garner respect for us as individuals are non-negotiable. But here everyone is thinking it's up for debate, how you can conduct yourself as a man, the results you need, the fucking progress that you take yearly, the fucking steps you take daily to gain the respect of those around you and correctly lead. Like I've always said, men lead from the fucking front. Men lead from the fucking front. And I've seen too many bitch-ass broads of men having their chick put their fucking pants on for them. I was on a call yesterday, and I looked around. And a lot of people sided with the fact that compression is the best form. But all too often, on that cupcake snowflake of a fucking Internetville comment section, people are like, maybe you shouldn't curse so much. Maybe you shouldn't yell so much. I need yelling. I need cursing. I need consequences. I know that if you give me an inch, I'll take a mile. Why the fuck do you think I was a dope fiend who would just think he could get away with anything he wants, eat anything he wants, do anything he wants? There was no fucking rules in my life before. Why was there no rules? Because my mind wasn't awoke to what the fuck was reality. I thought that if I just made enough money, I would run shit. Fact is that that's the least of the concerns. We have to create the man who can pull off anything, not just a man who can chase money and then terrorize himself in every other fucking way, make his people co-sign on his lack of ability. I'm on the way to the gym for round 2, right after this fucking video. And as I was making this video, I was on a call with one of my clients. I said, what would be a video for you? What would be a good video that you would want to fucking shoot? What? And he just said, that I don't feel worthy, that I don't feel worth it, that people shouldn't really listen to me yet. That's what a lot of you guys are suffering from. And that's what I don't suffer from. Why the fuck don't I suffer from that? Because even in the penitentiary, when I would walk in a new prison block, I would look the fuck around and be like, who else is going to lead everybody? All these pussies, all these shot out dope fiend fucks who ain't even jacked, who ain't even ready, who ain't even conducting themselves right. That's the same thing in the real world. I'll step in a fucking room and say, damn, who else should they listen to? These motherfuckers aren't winning, not physically, not mentally, not financially, more financially than the first two. A lot of people will have the money. They won't have the physicality. They won't have the cognitive ability to teach and fucking articulate points that can get people to make fucking progress. I've seen it all of it. And the only thing that I continually am shocked by is that when a fucking man chooses to do less, he doesn't understand why he feels like less. Motherfucker, if there's any easier math on this planet, it's that when you choose to do less, you feel less. When you choose to do more, you become more. There's no easier fucking addition than that, motherfucker. But the other side of this is that success is subtractive, because more in this life actually comes from doing less of the shit that's keeping you on that simple path and blueprint that will bring you to success. Success is truly subtractive when it comes to habits. The second I took away the alcohol, the drugs, seeking fucking women and meaningless sex and all this shit that I was before prison, I had a lot of fucking time to work on me. Now I'm not looking for women all the time. I'm not smoking blunts all the time. I'm not drinking in my spare time. Fuck. That's all I was doing. I mean, I come down to Miami and it's one big pleasure fest. It's fuckery. But a lot of these people go to the gym, they do this other stuff, and then I see them and they're not as successful as they should be. Why? Because they have that shit at the end of their day still. They're still at the club. They're still seeking these parties and these times out and everything. All that shit you put energy towards is taking away from the energy that should go towards the progress you want in life. Your greatest resource isn't time. It's energy. And these videos prove it. I spend 10 minutes on a video like this, put massive energy into it, and it kills the amount of time it would take for someone else to get this point across to 15,000 people. This type of video gets about 15,000 views. So now it's the energy. It's not the time it took me. It's the energy put in. And it's the energy compiled over time that has given me a certain effect. That's the law of compensation. I've poured into this group of people for so long that my trust is high. Regardless of it, this video works for you. There has been videos that have killed it for you. And that's what I was explaining to my client before. You have to show up every day, motherfucker. And he's like, yeah, just some days I don't have a topic. I don't give a fuck. You have to show up every day, motherfucker. And he's like, yeah, just sometimes. The way this works is that if you show up every day with the intentions of helping, you will hit 7, 10, 15, 30 videos out the park this year. Not every day is going to be the dopest one, but you'll stumble across 30 this year that are game changers. Most top people, from Andy Frisella to Goggins to me, have the 6 bangers you've heard from them. 6. 3 that were just game changers that changed fucking millions of lives. And it was stumbled across in flow state due to a selfless act that was, I'm going to show up again today, motherfucker. So it's as simple as showing up every day, but showing up with the intention to just give what worked for you. Ego would say, I don't have anything good to say today. Everything's good to say if you intend to help. What the fuck? How can we have such a downward view on something that is so massive that you've lived a shitty life, now you live a better one, and you take your time to help people? I don't have to fucking do any of this. I need it though. I don't have to do it, not financially, but I need it for me, because that ratio of pleasure that we extract from the world and servitude that we give back has to be 80-20. I'm telling you, any more than that, if I have any more than 20% of my day that I enjoy and 80% serving others, it just takes away all the pleasure. That perpetual pleasure chase is never ending. Love you guys. Gonna be here every day. I almost want to break the fucking window right here because the fucking sun is directly behind me. But I don't give a fuck. Because ever since day one, the message was what we were here for. Let's go.
Your thoughts, Talcott?
I fucking love it. I fucking love you, Paul. Admittedly, I tuned him out for a couple moments, and I finally got my own stream scheduled. So I'm ready for the day.
All right.
Hey, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get a break, get some rest. And if you are available or your plans align, please, love to see you later. Otherwise, well, I'd love to see you later.
Thank you, Mr. Talcott. I'm not going to be resting. I have to go set up the connection to continue what we do here. So I got to figure that out.
Good luck, brother.
Person's down there now immediately. We're going to hate on Wes Watson. We're going to go right back to that. Bet his money, then 80-20 go to servitude. Right. So if he spends his time, energy, and attention with most of his day helping others change their life, and he gets value back for that, he should give all that value physically away again. I guess you just can't win with these people, some of them. I'm not really interested per se what anybody does with what they can create or facilitate. for value exchange if it's ethical and everybody feels like they got what they came for, I guess. You know, ultimately, again, if he wants a mansion and 10 Bugattis like Andy Taint, whatever the fuck else, it's about right freedom and principles first and foremost. If you ain't got that, you ain't got nothing. So Brian O'Shea is in the back alley somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. I'm going to let him go. I'm going to sign off for now. I think we'll be back. Well, I have to get this situation together, so I don't know how long it's going to take. If I can get it done and get back, we'll be here for the Talcottian one. I'll jump on there with him for a little bit. Bullshit, maybe not. I don't know. Depending on what I'm feeling, how it's going over there. All right, folks. Another one of the books. Officially, we're here every day. As Wes Watson says, if one thing is for sure, two things for certain, gotta show up for yourself and others every day in whatever you do. We don't need to take any time off. Right? We can always find some time. Tell what somebody wants by what they put their time, energy, attention on. So, can't find time, make time. Yes, Brian O'Shea. I almost had to let you go. I thought that maybe you would, somebody got you in a back alley or something. Couldn't that?
Yeah, I'm just on a job, moving some furniture around, making some money. So life's good. Things are good. Good things are happening to me.
All right, O'Shea, go do your service. And I'm going to get the hell out of here. It's good to see you doing your thing. So salute to you, sir.
I appreciate it, man.
I'll let you go. Keep an eye on
much
me,
love,
Steve.
man.
Keep an eye on me. All right, folks, get the hell out of here. Go get something done if you haven't already. Focus on your plans, your growth. Self first. Extend that outward. As within, so without, as they say. So the more you get yourself right and you're in a position to be centered in self, know who what you are and what you're not, the more you can create with results. And then you have to determine what results are adequate, I guess, for you, or just stay true to what you do and stay consistent, and you'll be where you're meant to be when you're meant to be there, surrounded by who's meant to be there. All right, I'm out of here. Gotta go. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here, as they used to say. Official Talcottian sign off, as always. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Much love.